Go back to that. Check, 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 check. Check, check. All right. Checking to see how loud we are on the crowd noise. See if we need to go a little bit higher. And check, 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 check. How is that now? Better? Yeah. Checking now when we are at volume 20 on the crowd noise. Let's do one more little check to make sure that we are good right now on the crowd noise. We're at volume 20. How about right now on my check, on the Glock check on the mic with the volume 20? Checking now on the Glock mic, volume 15. Throw your headset on and see what we got there. Check Glock on the volume 15.
Check poke, volume 15, pokes, headset.
All right, I just turned my gain up. I'm turning your gain up quite a bit. I'm spiking our volumes there. Turn this down so we're not blowing our eardrums out. And this is at top of the clip right now on the Glock volume. Halfway on the gain, top of the clip. And I'm getting halfway up the board.
Yeah, it looks good on the monitor. And when I'm talking normal, I'm finally getting somewhere near halfway.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Montgomery Football on the Mire. Keith Glock and Matt Pogue with you live. Certainly not from Hunterdon Central, although we will be broadcasting live the Hunterdon Central and Montgomery football games. Pogue, what's going on?
It's good to be here. Out from my cave behind the computer for a little bit.
We are physically distanced at my home residence, working a little bit of technological voodoo, as they might say, although we were talking about this, in preparation for this, and hopefully we'll be able to do this for Immaculata as well, that you may not have even noticed that so many of these things were being done during the pandemic. Half of the NBA games that were broadcast on ESPN were the announcers sitting in Bristol. The Yankees, Susan Wallman and John Sterling, never traveled on the road with the Yankees this year. They basically went to Yankee Stadium every night that the team was on the road and watched the game in the booth and broadcasted the game. So, luckily Hunterdon Central gracious enough to allow us to tap into their feed, but you will get our announcing, same Mire quality as, hopefully anyway, as the one thing out of our control is the video, but that doesn't make me super happy, but that is what it is. But in any event, Pogue, as the mastermind of all this, I appreciate all your diligence.
Yeah, that was also a little subtle way to compare us to quality broadcasters of the NBA. Is that what that was?
Well, I mean, we're clearly fantastic. I mean, just call me Mike Breen, why don't you? Well, I'm still waiting for that signature, and a block by James. But, we're going to need like a state championship or something over here, Coach Cardi. So make that happen so we can get famous. In any event, Matt, let's talk a little bit about last week. Montgomery picked up its first win of the season. The acting head coach of the Cougars, Sean Cardi, his first win as a head coach for Montgomery, and came in fine style, I thought, over a pretty decent North Hunterdon team.
Yeah, they looked good from pretty much start to finish. I mean, they were running their offense. They were diligent. Things didn't work at times, but they stuck with it, and then they made some big plays happen, and it had to feel good to be at home and get one of their first win. No
doubt about it. You saw again, the star power that Montgomery possesses kind of on display. Alex Benitez really starting to settle into his role as the quarterback, replacing J.J. Malik. And then Dylan McFadden appears at certain times to be uncoverable. No matter how many guys you throw at him, what do you do with that kind of speed? Teams have not really found an answer for him yet. What do you expect tonight for Hunterdon Central as far as McFadden goes?
I mean, they absolutely saw the tape on that, so they're going to have their safeties just aware that he can get behind you and you might not realize, he's already gone. So definitely something that they have to be thinking about, which could be good for the run game because they're real concerned with the deep threat. Then hopefully Benitez is either the scrambling or he's able to, get the ball to somebody in the flats, but, hopefully they can move it that way.
The kind of the mainstay in all of the games so far this season was Weber Carsey, running the ball. Another dominant performance on the ground last week from him, obviously highlighted by his 70-plus yard touchdown run. How good was Carsey last week?
It was excellent. I have to give a little bit of credit to the line, too, just to make sure they're not forgotten because the blocking was incredible, but the speed and the vision by Carsey is what really finishes the play.
A good plug for what's to come. Obviously, we will have Bring the Fury again this week, and following that, we actually sat down with Brandon Fury and talked a little bit with him. A fantastic kid, obviously, part of our Mire family here, as he as he has put on the headset and broadcasted basketball for us last year and did a freaking phenomenal job. And he'll do so again for us come the basketball season this year. But we have about 10 or 12 minutes with him, and he's just entertaining as heck. So that was great. So I buried the lead a little bit when I talked about Weber Carsey. So we watched what he's been able to do through the first 3 games, and that's probably all you're going to see of Weber Carsey for the rest of the season. Going to miss the season, the rest of the season, we think. Certainly will not play tonight because of injury. And, Matt, that's just a devastating blow to a team that is already, without its starting quarterback. So you lose 2 of your, when you were coming into the season anyway, 2 of your top 4 playmakers are now out. How do you recover from something like that?
Well, I mean, after you get hit, 3 times, it's a little bit easier when that fourth one comes to realize, oh, I can deal with this. So, unfortunately, yes, he's not going to be playing, but they've already been scrambling and figuring out ways to make things work. So, it's just another week for them of, oh, what's in front of us today, and we got to deal with it.
Who do you expect to kind of take up some? I mean, obviously, you're talking about somebody who would carry the ball 15 times a game, minimum, depending on how the game plan shakes out. Who do you expect to kind of garner some of those carries in his absence?
Well, Pharrell Allen's definitely going to be in the backfield, and Mark Jenkins will be back there. I'm not exactly sure where and how, but they're all going to be splitting the carries just to make sure that they have different looks.
And I'm glad you mentioned Pharrell Allen too, because and I ended up talking to or mentioning him with Coach Carty, and he'll, I don't really want to steal his thunder, but we spent a pretty decent period of time talking about how good Pharrell Allen has been last week defensively. I thought Pharrell Allen was excellent, and just diagnosing plays, and I mean, he had I would say by our unofficial count, he had 3 tackles for loss. It might have been more. We don't have stat tracker rolling here, but bottom line was he was a defensive force last week.
Yeah, and he solidifies the defense, and at the same time, when things are a little bit rough, he gets a big play like that, and everybody feels a little better. The offense goes back out on the field, and it's just important to have a guy like that.
So defensively, I think for as much as glamour as we start to talk about guys when they carry the ball or they throw the ball or they catch the ball on offense, because that's easy for everybody to see, right? There are so many things that happen on the defensive side of the ball that may never even be visible to the eye because somebody is doing their job. Like Weber Carsey's absence in the middle of that defense, to me, poses a bigger problem than missing him on offense. I think that there are enough fast skill guys to potentially make up for 80% of what Carsey brings in terms of his speed, at least. But defensively, I mean, he is just a fantastic linebacker. I really think you're going to miss him there. How do you think that shakes out in terms of what that means to the, or the impact that it has on the Montgomery defense?
I mean, not just the physical attributes, but the fact that he was experienced. He has a good knowledge of what the defense is trying to do. He's one of the guys that probably helping out some of the younger, less experienced people in that huddle. So he is an important vocal leader, and without that, somebody else has to take over that role, and they have to be helping out guys that need a little bit of encouragement, or they need a little bit of, hey, you need to be here, or if you're not reading this, we need you to be doing this. So somebody has to take over that.
Lastly, Hunterdon Central comes into this game 0-3, which is almost unthinkable for a Hunterdon Central team to be 0-3 in football. Just about as foreign a concept to me. I've been, kind of following high school football in New Jersey pretty closely since the mid to late 90s, and Hunterdon Central is just always a powerhouse. Lost to Phillipsburg, just as Montgomery did. Lost to North Hunterdon, who Montgomery beat. And then last week lost to Watchung Hills, who Montgomery plays next week. So, a little bit of crossover there. I don't know about you. I don't take a ton from, well, we beat North, and North beat them, so we should beat these guys. To me, football is so much about matchups. I don't really put a lot of stock in that. Where do you fall on that?
No, it's one of those things where it depends on the day, depends on how it happened. There's too many factors to just say, well, ipso facto, this is what. No, there's just too many variables, and that's the kind of thinking that gets you into trouble, because you walk in and say, well, we beat this team that they lost to, so therefore we win, and that is never how it goes.
And I think maybe for a mere mortal 0-3 team, as we might say, which I do not think Hunterdon Central is, 0-3 might mean loss of confidence, lack of drive, anything like that. And to me, 0-3 just might mean that they're pissed off.
Yeah, they're hungry. They want that first win, and you got to make sure that you're not giving it to them.
There is no doubt. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back with Bring the Fury and then an interview with Brandon Fury, all coming up before kickoff, 7 p.m. here in the Mire. Montgomery and Hunterdon Central coming up soon. Stay with us. You're caught in the Mire. It's the Montgomery Internet Radio Experience. welcome back to the pregame show before Montgomery and Hunterdon Central football kickoff at 7 p.m. live here on the Mire, and our favorite segment of the pregame show every week. This is Bring the Fury.
Thanks, Glock. Here we are for the Cougars' first drive of the game. Benitez firing a strike to Dylan McFadden. Pickup of 25 yards on 2nd and 14. Cougs unfortunately don't do anything with it, so this is Christian Soliano on a 3rd and 10. He gets it off as he's getting sacked, and they pick up a first down. However, the next play, a tip pass, will be Mark Jenkins' interception, and it sets up the Cougars in great field position. However, they again don't do anything with it. So a few drives later, both teams trade some turnovers, and Alex Benitez picks up 13 here on a 2nd down and 19 scramble to set up this. Benitez throws a 50-yard bomb looking for McFadden and finds him, and they're going to score a touchdown and go up 8-0. The next North Hunterdon drive, Soliano gets sacked by Jalen McDaniel and Andre Sumulot on a 3rd and 12 there to get the Cougs back in great field position, which is set up by this great return from Mark Jenkins. He gets it around the 50 and gets it up by the 30, a near 20-yard return for Jenkins. Cougs unfortunately don't do anything with it, so Soliano on 3rd and 7, flat route gets blown up by Danny Boyer. The Cougs defense did a great job all night. So here's 2nd and 6 for Benitez. Last drive of the half in all likelihood. He throws a bomb and just misses the hookup with Dylan McFadden in and out of his hands. So here we are in the 3rd quarter, first play, and team captain Weber Carsey with a 70-yard run. And this is the Jersey Sports Zone play of the week. Weber Carsey puts the Cougs up 16-0. Next North Hunterdon drive, handoff here for North, and they pick up about 15, a good play for them. Here they are, North again moving the ball, picking up 8 on 2nd down to set up a 3rd and short, which would lead to a few plays later on a 4th and goal. North Hunterdon punches it in to cut the lead in half. They get the 2-point conversion as well. So it's 16-8. Cougs end up giving it right back. And Pharrell Allen on 1st and 10 blows up the swing pass. Cougars defense tenacious all night. Soliano strike over the middle. It's intercepted by Weber Carsey. He had a great night again. We'll really miss him next week and for the rest of the year with that finger injury. Here's Pharrell Allen picking up 8 there to set up this play for Alex Benitez on 2nd and goal. He finishes the game off. Cougs win it 22-8. Back to you, Glock. Thanks, Glock.
And now we welcome the author of Bring the Fury, Montgomery center and 3-year starter on the offensive line, Brandon Fury. Brandon, what's up, man? How you doing?
What's up, Mr. Glock? Thank you for having me on.
Oh, dude, thanks for being on. Excited to have you finally join us. Obviously, you know, when we're on location doing games at home and stuff, getting you on the broadcast is impossible because you're getting ready to kick a little rear end down on the field. Talk a little bit about that. You know, you had to miss the team's first game with an injury, and you know, in my opinion, in watching the 2 subsequent games against Phillipsburg and then last week against North Hunterdon, it really looks like, you know, as a unit, you guys on the offensive line are playing at a pretty high level. How do you feel about, you know, where you guys are as a unit right now?
Yeah, definitely. We've come a long way. We're just trying to get better every week, every practice, taking it slow. the 4 seniors that I play with, they all started freshman year. Like that was their first year. So this is really only their fourth year of football. So we're all just kind of trying to mesh together and really gel. Because the only people from last year that played at the same spots was me and Adam. Kevin and Jimmy switched, and then Jared is his first year starting. So we're just trying to gel together still.
I feel like that's a thing that, folks talk about, coaches talk about it, folks like you talk about something like that, oh, we're trying to gel. What does that mean? Like for an offensive lineman, you hear about, cohesion and understanding what the guy next to you, is doing. But for you, as somebody who, has his hands literally on the football on every play, how do you go about building that type of chemistry with your teammates?
Well, so it's little things like stepping on each other's feet, knowing when to get off on a double team, knowing what kind of help you have to bring to the person next to you on whether it's a pass play or a run play. Um, and that stuff takes time. It's not as easy as it seems. It's not like look at the playbook, do this. Like no, things take time because like I if I step on Adam's foot, Adam now trips and falls, doesn't get to the linebacker, they blow the play up. So it's just little things like that take a lot of time as a group.
This is kind of a potentially a weird question. You have a play like you did, last week. Weber breaks off a 70-something yard touchdown run, and rightfully he gets a lot of the praise, and mostly forgotten are the five guys up front that did a great job pulling and getting out in front and all that stuff. When you go into playing offensive line, you just kind of understand, I'm probably never going to get the glory for all of this stuff.
Yeah, I mean it just comes with the job. But we've always had good skills that like know that we do a lot for them and they do a lot for us too. So it's a good relationship we have with all of them.
How has it been for you guys with the coaching staff and obviously with Coach Milich being sidelined himself and Coach Carty kind of taking some things over, and then having to work through school from home and practice that was certainly in a modified way probably compared to what you're used to. What has all that been like for you as a student athlete?
Well, it's definitely a lot different. I'd say we don't watch as much film as we had before. We don't have as much time as we had before, but what I can say is now as a group, we've really like embraced the short practices and going all out for those practices. We haven't had a bad practice in a very long time. And that speaks to the coaches because I mean, we have great coaches. They watch so much film. They prepare us so well. Like we really have awesome coaches, and that helps us get through all these challenges like school from home, like short practices, no film, no locker room stuff, just little things that like don't seem like a big deal. We now see how big of a deal they are.
You talked about good practices, bad practices. You haven't had a bad practice. Is that something you guys can sense as players pretty quickly if you have a bad practice? Like whatever, however you want to define bad practice as, like what does that look like?
Well, I would, in my personal definition of a bad practice would be low energy, soft contact. Coaches have to say things multiple times, walking on the field, just little things like that. I'd consider a bad practice, but when we're flying around, we're hitting hard, we're getting better. You can't have a bad practice, and we just we haven't experienced that in a while.
Talk a little bit about Hunterdon Central, your opponent tonight. I personally, and obviously I haven't done all of the research, but just, having been around high school football since, as a working professional, either as a reporter or being here at Montgomery, it's been 22 years of me following high school football in this general area, and I can't recall off the top of my head a Hunterdon Central team being 0-3. What does tonight's game against the Red Devils present for you guys, and what are you going to try to do to send them to 0-4?
So first, we never take any team for granted, especially like a team with that sort of like name, like Hunterdon Central, where it's like they're just typically a good program with big kids, and if you take them for granted, like they'll run it down your throat. So really, what we got to do, in my opinion, is just do exactly what we did on defense last game. Stop the run. If we stop the run, like it's going to be tough for them to throw on us. And if we're moving the ball on offense, running the ball at will, milking the clock, like we'll have a pretty good chance tonight or tomorrow night.
Sure, in a backwards way, perhaps. You guys played Phillipsburg, and the result of that game certainly probably was not what you wanted. But I had said this to Coach Carty, previously as well when we spoke both on and off the air, that I thought that there was a very real scenario where 2 plays go a different direction. Only 2 plays go a different direction, and you guys are winning that game 14-7 at halftime, and then perhaps the second half looks a little bit different. I thought certainly up front, you guys were not outclassed in a game against a team that is stereotypically a very punishing program in Peaburg. Even though you lost that game, does that kind of give you guys any confidence that as you go into playing other quote unquote big name teams that, it's okay, we got this? Is that a sense that you guys kind of have? Or am I just kind of like making that up?
No, I completely agree. We lost to 2 good teams, and in both games, one thing here, one thing there, we're winning those games. Like, we're not far off from where we want to be, and I think we all know that. Like, it's not hard to see that little thing here, finish in the red zone like that, something like that. Don't get a penalty there. Fix these little things, and we're 3-0, 2-1 football team.
So, switching away from football for 1 second to bring everybody into behind the fourth wall, as they say in the media industry. Obviously, we have Brandon Fury on here, not only because he is the center on the Montgomery football team, but because he is a member of our Meyer staff. And Brandon, I just want you to kind of give everybody out there a little bit of background on why you want to kind of potentially get into this career field in terms of broadcasting. And I'll leave you with that one before I pump you up. So talk a little bit about that and your kind of desire to get into this field potentially after you go to high school.
Yeah. So I don't know. I've always liked it. I've always liked the idea of calling a game, even having like my own show or something like that, like a first take, like a Colin Coward, the Herd, something like that. It's just always interested me. And then, well, I saw the Meyer and how good of a production it was and all that, and I just wanted to be a part of it and help, and it could help me for college. I knew that, and after college. So
you certainly get an A in kissing rear end, which we appreciate here, from the Meyer end. But in serious and making you feel good about this, and I know I've said this to you off the air, but the listeners deserve to hear it as well. One of the things in a typical non-COVID year that happens is we broadcast basketball, and the Montgomery basketball team has been very good on the boys' side, stereotypically through the years for the last 10, 12 years, and senior trip always coincides with the conclusion of basketball season, and it's a struggle year in and year out to try to find a way for us to continue to broadcast those games if most of the Meyer staff is away on senior trip. And last year we turned the reins over to you, buddy, to call that last basketball game, and without any kind of exaggeration, you were phenomenal play-by-play in that game. I didn't really know what to expect. I knew that you're my guy, and I like you because I also happen to be your school counselor, and I had a lot of faith in allowing you to do it. I didn't really know what the product was going to be like, but we were sitting around in the Florida hotel room going, this is not just like good for somebody's first time. This is like good. Like, this is going to be a thing going forward where if I'm, wrapped up in something, I'm going to be like, Fury, you're the man. You got the ball here. Talk about that experience calling that game at the end of the season last year.
Well, that was crazy. Got there at like 3 o'clock, thinking everything would be set up by 5. Hang out, watch the JV game a little bit before, get my mind right to call a game. But really, when it took 4 hours to set everything up, and it still was not perfect until actually it wasn't even perfect through the whole game probably. I didn't have time to sit there and be nervous, so it kind of just happened. It was kind of like, all right, 7. Oh, next thing I know, they're tipping off, and I don't have time to sit there and think about it, which I think was actually a good thing. I think if I was sitting there for 2 hours, like, oh my God, like they're not here, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like maybe I would have gotten nervous. Maybe it wouldn't have been as good of a product, but I think it helped me actually that I wasn't sitting there.
Well, you were phenomenal, and we appreciate it, and we're working to make the setup a little bit easier for you guys as we continue to go forward. But Brand, man, we're certainly happy to have you as a member of our Meyer team, as I know that the football program is happy to have you as a member of their team. So thank you very much for your time today, and good luck tonight, and kick a little butt.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You got it. That was the center on Montgomery High School's football team, Brandon Fury. We'll continue with the Meyer pregame show, all leading up to kickoff against Hunterdon Central, coming up at 7 o'clock. Stay with us. You're caught in the Meyer. This is the Montgomery Internet Radio Experience. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the pregame show for Montgomery football against Hunterdon Central. Once again, we are joined by the acting head coach of the Montgomery Cougars, Sean Cardy. Coach, what's going on, man? Big victory last weekend.
Yeah, felt good. What's up, Keith? Thanks for having me on. You guys doing a great job. Appreciate you having us involved here.
Oh, listen, this is awesome for us, too. Are you kidding? Take me back to last week before we start to look forward. Let's look in the rear view for a little bit. I don't know that you could have drawn it up any better than that. I feel like you guys were in control of that game from the jump. At least that's how it felt upstairs.
Really proud of our guys last week, buying in again to what we're trying to do and what we're trying to create here. And it showed up. It showed up last week. The goal was to get out and strike first, and we started out with a 3-and-out, and we're able to pick up from there. And so carry on with some momentum early, and really able to take control of the game. So definitely enjoyed that one. The kids deserved it. They needed it, and we're ready to keep this thing moving now.
So now, obviously, football is people say, oh, football is a contact sport. No, football is a collision sport. Okay. And we know that is just, it's the most violent game out there. And to have, to be involved in football is to be injured. And every team deals with injuries. You guys kind of got a little bit of some bad news on that injury front with Weber Carsey this week. How does his injury kind of affect, where you guys are at this point?
Our kids are getting used to it. This 2020, this age of change and quick response, and dealing with the unexpected and the unforeseen. So I feel like our kids believe in it, in our approach, in our day to day. What we're about and what we're trying to do. So I hope we can keep trying to adapt and overcome, and keep trying to use the skills that we have, and appreciate the team that we have on the field, and keep trying to put our best effort out there. And with the guys that we're looking at in our huddle and the guys that are in our locker room, I have complete faith that that's their approach. That's how our Tuesday practice went. That's how I hope today goes into tomorrow, and we're ready to go on Friday again.
Philosophically, that's, not to get too far in the weeds, away from the game and all this stuff, but how do you go about creating that mentality where, you're, as you described, you guys are relatively unfazed by these things, because what other choice do you have? But, right. These are high school kids, they could easily, take their ball and go home, as we say metaphorically here, mentally. So how do you, as a coaching staff, how do you kind of build that up in those kids?
I think it's a challenge for us, but I think we emphasize it. We talk to them about it. We put it on the table as it is, and try to keep showing them that they have the ability. They are capable of doing these things, and we're not asking them to go above and beyond what they could do. I'm not asking a guy to go run faster than he can, or be stronger than he is. We're just asking them to be confident in what they've done and what they've built. And I feel like when they realize that they have the ability, they can do it, they can start seeing that picture more and more. And that's just what we're trying to do. Just promote the things that they're doing well. We want to emphasize their strengths. If we're good this week at running the ball, then that's where our emphasis is going to be. If we're going to be doing something else this week because that's where our strengths are, well, then that's what we're going to emphasize each day in practice, and try to keep them believing and keep them, on the same page as we are.
Now, as you've had to deal with, these injuries, and, we're talking about some humongous, impactful changes, on your team as you've gone through. And then to, excluding the Hillsborough game, which was, I felt like there was maybe more change there than anybody could have overcome, in that particular moment, just given the position and the chaotic, nature that would force on any team. But the way that you played against Peaburg, playing, as dominantly as you did against North Hunterdon, just how cool is it that you see these kids having all of this success? Well, what is that feeling like for those of us on the outside of the program when you see these kids really put that stuff together and have all that success? What's that feel like?
I tell you, I've been telling these guys too. It's been really awesome to watch and be a part of. I feel like I'm coaching more than I've ever coached in my career right now. Just because we're redefining some things in our system, in our team, in our focus and our emphasis. In a sense, we're redefining the quarterback position after that week one. And truthfully, it's been great. To get that win last week was really big for us. To add emphasis to that belief, to to keep that faith going. It would have been pretty challenging to keep that belief and keep that trust in what we're doing if we didn't come away with that one last week. Would have been back to the drawing board in a sense, and trying to keep motivating these guys to do it. But they were able to see some of that benefit. They were able to see some of that hard work pay off last week. And so, we're just trying to build on that this week, that, when you put it together, when you believe in what we're doing, when you trust your teammates and you trust, our game plan, we could be pretty successful. We have some talent. We have some size up front. We have some skilled players to get the ball to, and we're playing great defense right now. So we got to just keep those things going, highlighting those strengths, highlighting those things.
You touched on something that drives me bananas when coaches don't do it. And you just talked about redefining the quarterback position and being flexible and essentially what I'm hearing you say is, you're not stuck into one particular philosophy of one particular system, all personnel and changes be damned. Like I always compare the two systems that I always joke about from the pro level was like Mike Martz offensively when the greatest show on turf with the Rams. Well, everywhere else he went, like it was that system or bust. And then on the opposite end of the coin, you have I'm going to compare you to Bill Belichick for a second, by the way. The Bill Belichicks of the world where 1 week it might be we're going to run the ball 44 times because that's what it takes to win. And then the next week we might run it 6 times. And the guy who ran it 38 of those 44 isn't even active because he doesn't fit into the game plan this week. So philosophically, from a coaching perspective, how is that difficult to make, changes like that just to wrap your own head around it and say, this is what we're okay doing?
Yeah, in a sense it is, but for us it hasn't been. I think our kids understand our language. And although we are emphasizing certain parts of our offense this week versus next week versus, who we have and who we don't available, we're really still in our system. And our kids know the language, they know the tags, they know how to communicate on the line and make the plays that they need to make or get themselves into position to make those plays. So we're really, although it may look different week to week, it isn't different to our guys. It's within the language, it's within the system. It's just emphasizing different formations or different looks or different roles for different guys, but they're not reinvented in a sense. They're in there. And we're just highlighting those key parts this week, and that's it. We're trying to get them to see it. We're trying to get them to believe it. We're not asking you to come in and be someone you're not. We're asking you to do what's within our grasp, what's within your understanding, and just be ready to do that on each play.
You had talked about the play of your big guys up front at the end of our interview last week. And I got to tell you, obviously then that kind of set me off into a place where I was trying to pay, as much attention to the play of the offensive line as I could during the game last week. And boy, do those guys look like they're executing at a high level. When you were asking some of those guys, like for example, on Weber's long touchdown run, you're asking guys to be mobile and to get out, get on the move and block, and they really look like they are executing at a high level. Talk about those guys a little bit.
I love it. They're what's driving this team right now. Again, it's easier to shuffle the skill guys around, to play inside versus outside receiver. That's an easy thing to kind of adjust and move and within the language. But we've been able to be pretty steady up front. And, if we can keep that going, that's ideal, where, that's the beef, that's the meat of what we're doing. That's if they're controlling the line of scrimmage, it makes us play calling easier. It makes, taking shots easier. It makes, moving the ball and getting first downs obviously easier. So, we've been fortunate to keep that group together. And, again, I think it just shows how much they do trust in what we're doing, and they are able to understand what the goal of the play is. And yeah, they're athletic, they're strong, and, we're relying on them to kind of, again, like we said last week, lead us to the victory here.
One of the things that I've always thought has been, just when you're using your eyes to evaluate what you're seeing out there is, and this I guess would go naturally for any profession that you're in. Am I thinking, and is my thinking to diagnose what I'm seeing eating up time from me reacting? Right. And when you minimize that thought process and you see guys out there playing remarkably quickly, that to me tells me two things. One, they're being coached very well, and two, they have a very good understanding of what their assignments are.
So
and there we go. So they're being coached well and they understand their assignments. Somebody to me, when I watched last week's game, and again, when I watched it back on replay, who just played very, very quickly, in my opinion, was Pharrell Allen. His ability to diagnose plays defensively. He made a couple of stops behind the line, and then obviously, showing some athleticism and kind of making a good gain out of a busted play offensively, and he's been, it's seemingly like he is taking big strides forward week in and week out. Evaluate his play last week.
Yeah, no, that's true. We have expanded Pharrell's role in our offense and as a leader on our team tremendously over the last few weeks, and we're going to continue to do that. And his play warrants it, right? We want to get him the ball a little more. We want to be able to rely on his toughness and his skill set a little more. So we are continuing to expand Pharrell's role in what we're doing. And he is, taking it all in stride and ready to go. And, he asks the right questions. He's a student of the game. You see him teaching guys that are at his position constantly throughout practice. Pharrell has been exactly what he should be as a captain in our team. He is a leader by example. He's a leader with his play, and yeah, we're definitely going to lean on Fuller a little bit more as we go forward.
Last one from me, Coach. Now, with the kind of the hole at running back there that you now have to fill, who are you looking to step into that role? And if it's and it may not even be one guy, maybe kind of a by committee approach. Who should we look for to take on an increased workload this week and moving forward?
Well, I think we've seen a little bit of it already. It's going to be, again, much of the same in what we did last week and what we worked through the week before that. It'll be much of the same. We have guys that have proven that they're capable players, that they're capable athletes, that they're aware football players. And so we're going to be able to move those guys, the guys that we trust, into those roles. And, hopefully we don't skip a beat. I don't expect to. I expect that we're going to take the same approach to Friday night as we did last Thursday and, come out and try to, hit all our goals on offense and defense, strike first when we get the chance, and try to keep this thing rolling. So I think you're going to see quite a few back there without giving anything up before the game starts. But I think we want to rely on the guys that have been playing for us, because they're playing good football, and we're playing good football here, and we want to keep that going.
Just talk Hunterdon Central really quick for us. What are we expecting to see from the Red Devils? They come in 0-3, which is a relative remarkable rarity for a school that's been super successful through the years. What should we expect from the Red Devils tonight?
Right. Yeah, I expect them to be ready to play a football game at home. They had a tough run in these first three, but they're potentially able to make enough plays. They got enough size. They got enough speed. Schematically, they have a good system. So, we're ready. We're going to be ready for a battle. I expect them to be big, be physical, run tough downhill at us. So we got to stay to our game plan, right? We got to be able to run the ball successfully, be able to take our shots when we get a chance. Don't turn the ball over. Be smart with the ball on offense, and we got to run to the football and get a lot of guys around it on D. We got to keep making sure that we're where we need to be and communicating those things so that we can just keep flying around and playing Cougar football.
It's the acting head coach of the Montgomery Cougars, Sean Carty. Coach, thanks for giving us some time. Good luck tonight.
Appreciate it, Keith. Thank you. Thanks for the Myers support. Love it. You guys are doing a great job. Keep it up.
My pleasure. That was Sean Carty. We will come back with the rest of the Meyer pregame show as we get set for kickoff at Hunterdon Central coming up at 7 o'clock. Stay with us. You're caught in the Meyer. This is the Montgomery Internet Radio Experience. What's up, everybody? Welcome to kickoff of football, Montgomery and Hunterdon Central. Keith Glock, Matt Pogue with you. As looks like Jeff Becchiarin, senior kicker, is going to tee things up for the 0-3, shockingly, Red Devils. And we are almost underway for football. Bekiarian puts a foot to it, and it will be returnable inside the 5-yard line. And a very nice return. Still on his feet is McFadden out past the 43-yard line. And that's right about where he's going to get tackled at the 44. A fantastic return for McFadden, Matt, to open things up here.
You really can't ask for a better start than that. Get some good field position. Opens up your playbook a whole lot more. You're not concerned about, do we need to just get a few yards to get comfortable? Like, they're looking to attack already.
So let's see what Montgomery has cooked up on offense with Weber Carsey out with that injury. And I don't know, Matt, if we're going to see, Benitez a little bit more, as a running back, and, if they're going to give snaps to somebody else, I'm not really sure. We'll see. For now, it's McFadden in motion, and Benitez is going to look to keep it. A little bit of confusion there between he and McFadden, and it's going to end up in a 2-yard loss.
Yeah, it looked like it might have been an option, and, they weren't sure who was going to do what on that one.
That just looked a little discombobulated. Not certainly how you want the first play of the game to go off, but, it is what it is.
I mean, it helps when that happens when you're almost near the 50 versus, at your own 15.
So it'll be second down for the Cougs from the 42-yard line, or for their own 42, I should say. And this will be Benitez on a keeper looking for room, cutting back up, and is out past the 45-yard line. A decent gain there for Benitez to get back what he had lost on first down.
Yeah, there was a lot of patience there, too. I mean, there wasn't much initially, but he decided to kind of, hang back, see what the blockers are going to do, and he still turned it into a positive play.
Tonight's video, courtesy of the Hunterdon Central Sports Network. They were kind enough to allow us to tap into their video feed because obviously in times of COVID, this is kind of where we're at. So we are broadcasting live from my basement tonight. Clock and poke, physically distanced, of course, as Benitez will look to throw it, and he's got a completion and a first down out to guess who? Dylan McFadden inside the 45-yard line. Or check that, that's Brooks Dahl. I'm sorry, inside the 45-yard line of Hunterdon Central.
See, I like that, too, because they've been running the ball, and they've been, showing them a lot of the looks, and then immediately they drop back into soft coverage, and they just attacked it.
That's one of the things that I think McFadden sets up. We mentioned this briefly last week that, with the speed he possesses downfield, you don't have any choice but to play off of him, and that can open up some things underneath, whether it's a slant or, just even a deep dig. You might end up 15, 17 yards on a dig because everybody has to turn their back and run. McFadden will get it, or check it, it's Benitez on the keeper, and about 5 yards for Alex on that play. Fooled me, thought he had given it to McFadden, which would have been timely considering we were just singing his praises, but is what it is.
Well, you can't always come out right on top.
I beg to differ. Okay. Just one thing we'd like to know about this broadcast is that I like to be correct.
Well, yeah, we got to deal with that. Tim, you're missing something here.
That he is. He's probably really happy about that. Second down and 5 for the Cougs at about the 38-yard line of Hunterdon Central. We're just underway here in the first quarter. And this is going to be Pharrell Allen, and the bruising halfback has about 4. He's close to a first down, but just a little bit short.
I like that run. I mean, even though it's not a huge gainer, the fact that he made them work for that tackle, like, you want to see that all the time from him. There
are guys that, you see carry the football that it doesn't matter where the contact is, they're falling forward for 2 and 3 yards. And, Pharrell Allen is, he's not a small guy. So he's the type of guy that once he gets hit, he's going to create that forward momentum. And, don't be shocked if they give it to him again here. But we'll see. Hunterdon Central showing blitz. And here they come. They pick it up. Benitez throwing over the middle. Looking. He's got it. Inside the 5. It's a touchdown for the Cougars. One drive and a touchdown. Dylan McFadden.
You got to love that. I mean, they've been running the ball. They've been deliberate and then immediately over the top just when you think that they're going to keep pounding it up the middle.
And the muddle huddle again here. This is what Montgomery has done the first couple of games to see if they can catch teams unaware, and we'll see what they do here. In the last 2 games, Benitez has only attempted 1 extra point, and he missed it. They're going to go for 2. It is snapped to Benitez, and he is going to walk right in. That was really interesting. Hunterdon Central looked a little bit confused on that, and just like that, 8-0 Montgomery.
That might have been one of the things they saw on film, and they were like, yeah, we know what that means, and then they see it in person, and it's a whole lot different.
A lot of people did not attack there. The one thing that we don't have while broadcasting live here from Glockdown in my basement is the time for you. So to the extent that we are aware of how much time is left in the quarter will be only what Hunterdon Central TV shows us. So we're kind of with you on the in that boat. But in any event, it is what it is. 8-0 Montgomery. You got to love that.
I mean, that's the best you can ask for. You're on the road, you get a score, you go up, you put a lot of pressure on them to kind of respond, and your defense goes out with a little bit more confidence knowing, hey, we got a lead, but we want to help our offense get right back out there.
They're helping kids understand this concept is very difficult. And I was making this argument last Sunday when we were all sitting here having a conversation while watching Sunday football, in that momentum is a work of fiction, we'll get to this, and it drove former Montgomery assistant coach Joe Wacker a little nuts as Benitez kicks it into the end zone for a touchdown. That whatever has just happened, to pretend it didn't happen is crazy. Obviously, we acknowledge what just happened, whether it's good or bad, and everybody acknowledges their role in what was good or bad. And in no way is it predictive of what happens next.
No, you have control over the next one. The previous one happened. You can evaluate it. You can look at it. You can analyze it all you want, but that doesn't matter for the next time you go out there.
But, to adolescent kids, momentum feels real. And it's hard to get them out of that kind of spell of understanding that momentum is not really real. It is really, if you are mentally strong enough, it's only what you make of it. First play of the game for Central, and a big hit in the backfield. A great play by Benitez as E.J. Jones loses about a yard on the play. But Alex, boy, diagnosed that play right from the jump.
Yeah, he's doing a little bit of everything, and you love to see that he's already active on defense because that's going to pump up a lot of other guys saying, hey, he's making big hits. We got to make some hits too.
One thing I love about Montgomery this year, we're like the mini Oregon. We're not really as well funded as, say, Oregon is, but fourth game and fourth different uniform combination for the Cougs. Here is Jones again off the right side, and again he is going to lose yardage, and another play in the backfield. That time it was Danny Boyer.
Yeah, they're playing real confident. They are attacking, getting through all the gaps, and it looks like Hunterdon Central almost wasn't expecting, a little bit of a blitz and a lot more pressure coming.
So a 3rd down and long, 2 negative plays to start the game for Central. That's, I'm sure, not what they wanted, but, is what it is. Boy, if you can get a stop here on their first series, and, I just think even if you don't score on the next series from Montgomery, just to, force a 3-and-out, control the ball for a dominant first drive, and eat another couple of minutes off the clock. And the hard count got them again. And a couple of guys looking at each other like, I didn't really mean to do that. Pat Whalen there, the 210-pound senior, jumped offside.
I mean, when you're aggressive and you're really trying to attack the ball, sometimes that can happen, but, they just got to rebound and make sure that they don't give everything away for that first down.
Well, the thing that kills me about that stuff, again, is just how close to the ball they are when they snap it. Here's Lentine. He's looking down the field, and a big gainer and a completion and a touchdown saving tackle by McFadden. That pass caught by Owen Bill, the son of assistant coach for Hunterdon Central, Tom Bill. And boy, there are some athletic genes in that family, Matt. Let me tell you, Tom Bill is also one of the assistants on the lacrosse team, was a remarkable quarterback for Hunterdon Central back in the day. To tell you that I know exactly the years would be a lie. Scholarship athlete to play quarterback at Penn State. So Owen has certainly gotten Dad's genetics.
Yeah, they might have had a couple of catches in the backyard.
One of the other things that if you know Tom Bill, he has and I've said this for years, as we're going to get a handoff to Jones again in a couple of yards, maybe one or two, that Tom Bill has the most distinctive voice in the state of New Jersey. If he's speaking anywhere in a 200-yard radius, I would tell you, be like, oh, it's Tom Bill. Like, there's just nobody's voice like that and 5 cents will get you like 5% of the way to a cup of coffee.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's the award for most distinctive voice in
Nothing.
New Jersey? Yeah,
Absolutely nothing.
haven't seen the award show for that one yet.
Nope, not even a little. I'm going to work on more relevant stories to the Mire. It's just kind of try to give you a little glimpse into my life.
Why would you do that? Relevant? Who needs that?
That's fair. We're going to get another offside penalty on Montgomery.
This is when the kids would start talking about momentum, and they would start saying, "Oh, no, the momentum is against us." And in reality, no, it's a couple of mistakes here and there. But if you make a big play here and you correct things, it doesn't mean that everything has to keep going downhill.
Just got an alert on my phone that drives me bananas. I'll get to that in a minute, as it'll be first down or second down and short after the offsides, and this is Jones, and he's got a first down for Central. And he is inside the 30-yard line, down to about the 27. The notification I just got on my phone was that Antonio Brown has signed with the Buccaneers.
Oh, they'll take anybody right now, huh?
Yeah, I am fairly certain. I mean, if Lawrence Taylor maybe wants to come out of retirement, they'll take him too. Is there anybody else with a flashy personality?
A flashy.
Oh,
that's an excellent way to put that, flashy.
He's got hit in the head a couple of times, Antonio Brown. I tell you. Frankie Lentine is the quarterback. He's a junior. He turns around and hands it to E.J. Jones, and a good play by Montgomery to stack Jones up after about a yard.
I mean, they've done a good job against the run right here. They haven't really been attacked except for that one big play and, a couple of mistakes on their part. So they need to keep their heads up and realize that we are actually playing pretty well. A couple isolated things don't define you.
Jones is the kind of guy you really don't want to let get to the outside. So Montgomery, doing a pretty good job of keeping him bottled up so far, but he really has some breakaway speed. So here's Lentine. He's looking to throw, and he's got a completion short of the first down to about the 23-yard line. And that time that was Cole Gray, the sophomore. He ain't built like a sophomore, I'll tell you that.
I mean, even though they're at home, they get some home-cooked meals, and even without the cafeteria, they're doing all right.
Oh, man, how bad do we miss that in COVID times? Just being able to pop down there and get a sandwich or something for lunch?
Yeah, save a grocery store trip? Yeah.
I tell you. Strange times, these COVID times in 2020. Keith Glock, Matt Pogue, live from my basement as we watch Hunterdon Central and bring it to you here, experiencing it the same way you are, and whether you feel good or bad about having to listen to our voices, we don't care, because here we are. Lentine on a keeper. He's looking for the edge, and it's going to depend on the spot, and it looks like he stepped out. He's going to be short, but this is in that area where you got to think they're going to go, Matt.
Yeah, unless you have a kicker that you are very certain in, you might have to just kind of, either trick play or something quick up the middle to try and force this, because you're not going to punt here.
Yeah, I would certainly think not. I mean, it's fourth down and about a yard. They need the 17-yard line for a first down. So let's see if the Montgomery defense can step up. It was a third down and about 13 earlier in the drive that Owen Bill hauled in a long pass to the sideline from Lentine. So big play here as it comes in the first quarter. And Lentine will turn to Jones, and he falls forward. I don't know. I think the last bit of contact might have stopped him. I think he's short, Matt.
I think he stopped him. I mean, that initial contact, he was moving hard, but he slowed him down real quick.
They're going to get a measurement, and I don't even like this spot. I think his body fell to the left when you watch that. And this is the I wish we were there so we could show a replay of kind of how this happened. This is going to be super, super close.
I mean, Farrell got a great hit on him. It looked like he drove him back. I don't know about this.
Let's see. I don't know based on the spot. Oh, boy, by the nose of the football. First down, Hunterdon Central. Boy, I think that was a tough spot for a Montgomery fan.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Whole mess of people over in Red Devil country that feel completely the opposite way.
Oh, no, that was the best call they've seen ever.
You're pushing it there. But,
I thought that's what we do on this. No?
Well, it's always what we do. Come on. And it's only the two of us here, so we can push whatever we want. First down and 10 for Hunterdon Central in the 17-yard line of Montgomery. That's got to be a false start. Yeah,
that didn't look right.
Yeah, the halfback got going a little bit too soon there as we get our get a flag against the Red Devils. So new set of downs, but 5 yards back at the 22-yard line.
You got to wonder what Hunterdon Central's thinking here, because they've tried a whole lot of different things so far, but I mean, I haven't seen that big pass again. There hasn't been anything towards the end zone. I wonder, if they're taking a shot soon.
Got to think Owen Bill is the man there. Had over 100 yards, 111 receiving yards last week in the loss to Watchung Hills. So Lentine, and he'll turn, and it'll be play action. And he is going to look to throw. He is going for the end zone, and it is going to be, is that intercepted? That might be intercepted. Let's see what the call is. Nobody has done anything yet. Somebody give me a call, and now we have a touchback, an interception for Montgomery. A fantastic play in the back of the end zone.
That is the kind of thing you need to get your team fired back up. I mean, just taking that away, that swing of points, it's huge.
Dylan McFadden, boy, is he good. I got to tell you, that was as fantastic a play as you're going to see. Had the inside position and was able to get 1 foot down in the back of the end zone. All that receiving prowess doing him well, and that is a huge momentum swing, Matt.
Oh, man, the toe drag on that one, that is awesome. And he's going to be fired up. They're going to get their offense right back out. They're feeling great right now.
Playmakers making plays. We've said it all year long, as Alex Benitez is back out under center, metaphorically, of course, as he's in the shotgun, and he's going to look to run with it. And, boy, he almost broke it there. A shoestring tackle after a gain of about 8.
Positive plays like that, just keep some of those going. 4, 5, 6, 7 yards, that's incredible. Keep doing that.
This is one of those things where I would love to, in my sense is a lightning fast first quarter. I have no clue how much time is left in this first quarter.
It feels fast. I don't know what that feeling's based on, but it feels fast.
Everybody has kept the ball on the ground, and even when they've thrown it, they've completed passes and completed them in bounds. So, clock has had a chance to stay moving. It's second down and short for the Cougs as they approach the 30-yard line, or their own 30-yard line, I should say. Alex Benitez, he will look to throw on second down. He's going to throw deep again. He's looking up the left sideline, and another completion inside the 40-yard line of Hunterdon Central. Who else? Dylan McFadden.
What a play. He stood in the pocket. He took all the pressure, made an excellent throw down the field.
I don't really care that Benitez is not the quote-unquote starting quarterback. His ability to diagnose one-on-one coverage on McFadden is phenomenal, and he has given his receivers every opportunity to make plays this season. Here is a give to Pharrell Allen, and he's got some good yardage, and he's down near the 30-yard line. So the Montgomery offense, Matt, is humming.
Yeah, they look like they're running downhill right now. Everything they're doing is attacking, and they are confident right now. This
has been an impressive job offensively for the Cougs. Alex Benitez looking every bit the quarterback. And, I don't know if, in the game plan there was a plan to get other guys snaps. At this point, I mean, there's assuredly no need for that right now with the way that he is playing.
I have a feeling labels are not as important right now.
Oh, there's no doubt. It's just getting the ball in the hands of the guys that you want to carry the ball. And this is Benitez, again, looking for first down yardage. He's got it. He cuts back inside the 20-yard line. And another first down for the Cougs as Benitez keeps the chains moving.
Man, every play they walk up to the line, they look like we know we're getting something. We just don't know how much, but we are getting something.
Very, very impressive first quarter of play offensively. And even for Hunterdon Central, I mean, converting that third and long was very, very big for them, as we talked about the momentum swing that could have occurred there had they gone 3 and out. But I don't know what would have been more impactful, do you think, going 3 and out there, or the way that drive actually ended with the McFadden interception?
I mean, it's a psyche thing of we almost had a touchdown. That's got to hurt when you know that we gave the ball away as close as you could be.
Benitez going for the end zone now. He's looking up the right sideline that time, and that was incomplete, nearly picked off by Marquise Thurman. But, I mean, if you're going to go up there, you go for McFadden again. It's just that one was thrown a little bit too much to the inside.
Yeah, he's kicking himself a little bit about dropping that one, but, hey, I like it for us.
If Benitez had thrown that ball directly at the back pylon,
Yep.
that's a touchdown.
Yeah, if he gets to turn his shoulders the other way. But here, look at us nitpicking from your basement.
Well, of course. I mean, again, as you said, it's what we do. It's how we roll on the Mire. Keith Glock, Matt Pogue, having some fun with you on a Friday night here for Montgomery football. 8-0 Cougs as they are looking for more. Benitez nearly mishandles it with Farrell Allen, but Allen breaking inside the 10. He's got another Cougar first down. It's going to be 1st and goal for Montgomery.
When he gets the ball, his eyes must be huge. He looks like the field is just, it's his right now. He can do what he needs to do.
And the dreaded yellow flag icon. As we will see what happens. And that may be the end of the first quarter. We will see. Getting a shot of the officials here. It is the end of the first quarter. And it will be a penalty on Montgomery as you see the officials walking it back, likely a holding penalty. So the ball will be all the way back outside the 25-yard line. That's a momentum killer there. We have played one quarter in Flemington. Montgomery 800 and Central nothing. We'll be back right after this. You're caught in the mire. It's the Montgomery Internet Radio Experience. Welcome back to the Mire. Not the end of the first quarter, apparently, as, again, a little tough to diagnose some of these things from not being there live. As Benitez, he's going to throw, and a pretty good play to break that pass up near the goal line, again intended for McFadden. So a nice job out there. Looked like Joey Valentino, and that now will bring us to the end of the first quarter, we promise. 12 minutes in the books, 8-0 Montgomery. We'll be back. You're caught in the mire. It's the Montgomery Internet Radio Experience. Welcome back to the Mire. Keith Glock, Matt Pogue, live with you from my basement as we watch Hunterdon Central and Montgomery football together with you. COVID times obviously forced us to broadcast this game remotely. We thank Hunterdon Central TV for letting us piggyback on top of their feed. And we come back to a 3rd down and long for Montgomery. It's 3rd and about 15 and a half as Benitez looking to throw, spins the ball in his hand, zings it out to the left, and that's going to be just a little bit too tall for Dylan McFadden, and McFadden kind of said, just got the fingertips on that one, but no mas.
You got to love the job the line's doing there. Benitez, I mean, he looked like he could have sat down and, had a drink, and he was comfortable back there.
Absolutely. It'll bring up 4th down, and this is one of those high school in-between moments. Obviously, if this was the NFL, you're kicking a 42-yard field goal and being pretty happy about it. But a 42-yard field goal for a high school kid is a gargantuan task. But so Montgomery will go for it. They need 15 and the 10-yard line for a first down. And we are going to get, I believe, a timeout. Would love to tell you who called the timeout. No official has. Hunterdon Central. Good job by Hunterdon Central TV letting us know who has taken that timeout. So obviously, Central did not like what they saw and want to think about it just a little bit.
Yeah, this is an interesting moment too because Central wants to look things over. They got to look. They didn't like what they saw, but when you come back out here, are you sending everybody? Are you trying to kind of hang back and think like, we think they're going to be conservative and just fight for field position?
I am not doing that. I am triple teaming McFadden and letting the rest of the chips fall where they may because, in my opinion, now obviously Brooks Dahl has a catch in this game, but we know the weapon that McFadden is. If they can, with a 3 or a 4-man rush, bust off a 15-yard run on 4th and 15, you almost tip your hat to them. So we'll see what they do here as Montgomery will send a man in motion, and this is going to be, looks like a little bit of a trickeration here, and still on his feet, but going to be short of the first down. I couldn't tell if that was McFadden or Mark Jenkins who actually took the snap.
Yeah, that was a quick move. I was like, there's no gap there. He saw a gap.
That was Mark Jenkins in at quarterback there for the Cougs. And look, you needed 15. You got 11. I mean, Jenkins nearly pulled off a Houdini magic act to snag that first down. But, all things considered, you leave Hunterdon Central in certainly a not advantageous position at the 14-yard line to start things off.
And that's the conservative play, but I get it. If you get the first down, awesome. But if not, that's what you're trying to do. I mean, rather than possibly punt and give it to him at the 20, you forced him back pretty deep.
So Frankie Lentine, the junior signal caller, he wears number 9. He will stand back with E.J. Jones on his left hip. And he will give to Jones. And again in the backfield, the Cougs there to snuff the whole thing out.
Yeah, you got to love that finish by Danny Boyer. He came in just to make sure.
Danny Boyer has been, a great defensive asset for the Cougs. And, you have to give credit to this Montgomery defensive line, really kind of understanding what Hunterdon Central is trying to do. And, so often you see offenses, doing what they do and defenses kind of having to react. Montgomery's defense is absolutely attacking.
Yeah, they are dictating the play, and Hunterdon Central almost looks like they have to react to what the defense is showing them.
Lentine on 2nd down and 11. He will look to throw it. Loading up, throwing over the middle, nearly intercepted again. That time Jenkins was there, and it just short-hopped in front of him. But Lentine just a little bit too tall, again looking for Cole Gray.
Yeah, outside of that one deep pass, they've been doing a great job of containing everything.
So another big 3rd down and long for the Red Devils. Montgomery 1 and 2, I should say, and Hunterdon Central an uncharacteristic 0-3 entering this ball game.
And they got everything very spread out. We might see that deep pass again.
Lentine takes the shotgun snap and looks to throw. Here comes some pressure. He steps up and avoids it. Now he does throw deep over the middle into double coverage, and that is incomplete, looking for Owen Bill. And good coverage out there, again, that time from Danny Turner. So that will bring up a punting situation for Hunterdon Central. Matt, that's exactly what they needed there.
Yeah, that was great. I mean, you see 3 Cougars out there when the pass drops. That's incredible. That receiver knows, I got to work pretty hard to even get a little bit of daylight.
Cougs should have some pretty good field position after this one. Jeff Bakarian waits a couple yards into his end zone. A high snap. He goes up to get it and does get it off, and it's a pretty good kick. And it is going to be fielded and taken inside the 40, and now inside the 35-yard line. And another nice return for Jenkins and Montgomery, and the Cougs are humming. And that's when you go for it on 4th down on that last drive like Montgomery did, and you come up short, this is the situation you envision. Don't worry about it. 3 and out, we'll get it back. We'll start at the 30. It's fine.
Yeah, they're just giving you a break. That's all. You're going to go back, take a little rest. We're going to get right back for you. I mean, just the fact that he scooped that ball up, too. They are feeling good. That is not an easy play to just scoop up a ball bouncing like that.
And I always bang on the fact that you have to go up and catch the ball. There was no way he could have gotten to that ball. So allowing it to bounce was the right play there, except, like you said, just an athletic play. Benitez on 1st down. He's searching for some room, and he's got about a yard down to the 31.
I mean, as long as the plays are positive, they still look like they're moving the ball. And I think that they're still feeling them out a little bit. So a lot of these plays are also kind of, can we get 3 or 4 yards here? And if not, maybe there's going to be a little more of the play action coming.
Benitez has not been shy about taking those shots down the field to McFadden, and when you get into that high red zone, down near the 20-yard line, throwing for the end zone becomes more difficult. Certainly in the low red zone, it becomes more difficult because the defense doesn't have to defend, the entire length of the field. So a lot of things become compressed in, and the windows become tighter. This is the place where you might take a shot. But Benitez will keep it, and he's got some running room. He's searching for a first down. He is down near it, and he is going to be, and it looks like he's going to have it at the 21-yard line. So a great run by Benitez and a new set of downs for the Cougs.
Yeah, there's a lot of fear about the pass here because when he draws that back and ends up running, the defense is 10, 15 yards away from him before anybody's making contact.
Keith Glock, Matt Pogue, Montgomery football on the Mire on a Friday night. Montgomery offense has been impressive all night tonight. Alex Benitez captaining that ship for the Cougs, and he has done it with both his arm and his legs as they have an 8-0 lead, looking for more here. Again, Hunterdon Central showing blitz, and it's going to be Pharrell Allen off the right side. And even though he ends up getting pushed back after that, like we talked about before, Matt, he pushes that pile forward to get that forward momentum down to the 20-yard line, and it ends up being a positive play at the end of the day.
I mean, I count 500 Central people getting up off the ground for this one guy's run. I mean, that's what you want to do.
Carrying guys for positive yardage. Got to love that. Second quarter of play in Flemington. Montgomery looking to win its second game in a row, and Central trying to avoid an 0-4 start. And that, I mean, we could probably find out at some point. We'll do a little bit of research during the week and see the last time Hunterdon Central started 0-4. I can't even imagine. Again, the Red Devils showing blitz. Benitez has it picked up. He throws it out to the left, and again, incomplete, and looking for McFadden, and just led him just a hair too much.
I mean, they're still getting the looks that they want, which is good. Even when, he comes back to the huddle, he didn't get that one. They know that this is going to be there. Certain things are there, and they just have to connect.
The last two throws to McFadden on the sideline, when you talk about missing by a hair, that's the kind of play that I think as the season goes on, you're going to see them hit on. I mean, that's the kind of stuff you rep out. You rep it over and over and over again, and it's one thing if he was airmailing the ball 15 yards over his head, but we're talking about a yard difference, maybe a foot difference in ball placement.
And reps are the one thing they are lacking right now.
Everybody's lacking. There's no doubt about it. Third down for the Cougs, and Benitez sidearm sling out to the right, and that is a great tackle out there by Mateo Hollian, and that stopped Brooks Dahl from a bigger gain, and that will bring up fourth down. Certainly makeable, though, for the Cougs.
Yeah, and I still like these. They're conservative at times, but they're smart decisions that he's making. And, if nothing's there, he's not trying to force anything. If that was the design screen, then let's see if it's there. But if not, they're not making any mistakes downfield.
You know what the problem was there? I mean, the numbers just didn't match up. I was an English major, but, 300 Central guys out there, 2 receivers from Montgomery. One of them's catching the ball. I don't really know that one guy's blocking 3. So, that's really all that comes down to. And they're going to try a field goal here. This is going to be a 42-yard attempt from the right hash for Benitez. Snap is good, hold is good, and Benitez has a ton of leg, and no good for Benitez, but boy, length certainly not an issue for Alex.
Yeah, let him calibrate that a little bit. That'll be good.
Man, it's almost like if you had pushed that into the middle of the field instead of it being on the right hash. The hash marks in high school and college are so freaking wide. It is so difficult to, just to make field goals. But often, we've always said, because of those wide hashes, sometimes being in that mid-range is a little easier than even being closer because of that extreme acute angle. Now, but 42 yards for a high school kid, it's tough for anybody.
I mean, he almost did it, though.
I've told this story on the air, I think, the best high school football game I was ever at, with apologies to Montgomery Old Bridge, was Don Bosco and Holy Cross. I'll get to that in a second as Lentine will turn and hand to Jones, and nearly tackled for a loss again in the backfield, I should say, by Boyer, but he's still limited to a gain of about 2. That Don Bosco Holy Cross game Ryan Grant, the former NFL running back for the Packers, was the running back for Don Bosco. Wally Lundy played for the Houston Texans, was the star of that football game for Holy Cross. And a young man by the name of Jeff King, who was a linebacker, kicked a 47-yard field goal as time expired to rally them from a 19-point fourth quarter deficit to beat Don Bosco. An unbelievable finish. Lentine off play action, and that's not really intended for anybody in particular, and he might have had a little bit more time on that throw than he thought, Matt.
I mean, I think that maybe there was a miscommunication on where he was going, or possibly he just knew it wasn't there and just made sure to get it out of bounds. I couldn't really tell on that one.
It looked like almost the depth of the route on the sideline was off, and he was expecting him to break that route off, a little bit shorter before he did. And if you look at it, we're watching it again here kind of in the background. It was about a 5 or 7 yard miscommunication, on their part. So in any event, 3rd down and about 6 for Hunterdon Central. They need this conversion in a bad way. Lentine looking, a lot of time. Rolling. Now he's under pressure, and he is going to be dropped, and that is not an eligible receiver. That's intentional grounding, folks. He threw it in the direction of Trevor Shaw, who wears 75, and that's no good. And I can't believe we haven't had a flag come out.
Yeah,
You have a player in the grasp, and in high school football, that play is called so tightly, typically.
I mean, just the fact that he's even trying to throw it, you don't need to see that. If it's already bad, let's not make it worse.
I mean, looking at it again, I mean, Jones was I don't even want to say he was in the area. He wasn't really in the area. He was like amongst a bunch of guys, but not really anywhere near it. Here is the punt again by Bakarian, and again it'll bounce right into the hands of Jenkins, who takes it out near midfield to about the 48-yard line, and that's where the Cougs will start things.
Man, even that one. He is not afraid to just go down and scoop that short hop.
Yeah, and, as far as bounces of the football go, it's an oblong leather ball that can bounce in any direction, and twice it bounced right to him. So, I mean, you take gifts where you can get them, right? I mean,
let's call it talent of positioning or something.
Of course.
Let's spin that.
As my good friend Brian Fuchs used to say when we played lacrosse in college, kid would take a ripper and hit the post, and he's like, stellar positioning. I would have had it if it didn't hit the post.
I knew it was going to hit the post. I didn't need to be there.
100%. 1st and 10 for the Cougs from their own 49-yard line. They lead it 8-0 as we are in the second quarter. And it may only be a one-score game here, Matt, but this game really has felt like it's Montgomery being in control pretty much from the word go.
Yeah, a couple of plays here and there, and they might have, 2 or 3 scores. So it's one of those situations where you have to keep doing what you're doing and not feel like the scoreboard is your enemy because we're only up by 8. But, the fact is you're moving the ball, you're making good decisions, and a couple more decisions are going to happen, and you're going to be scoring.
Like you to know, Jim Griffin concurs, says that the Holy Cross comeback was the greatest comeback ever, which was, I completely concur, just a fantastic game at Rutgers. And the wind was blowing. It wasn't even like it was a beautiful day. It was like overcast and foggy, and this kid comes out and drops a 47-yard field goal from the right hash. I was sitting there with Steve Tuckerson covering the game for the Trenton Times going, he ain't making this. There's no way he's making this.
They're running a fake. They got to be running the fake.
Well, we were saying, where's it? Is Lundy going to come in motion? Are they going to get? What is he going to do? Yeah, no, just kick it. No problem.
Do a hard count, maybe just try and get somebody. Nope.
Jeez, unbelievable.
What an asset to have.
This is an important drive for Montgomery. I think you want some points here because, if you're Hunterdon Central, you're like, we're getting dominated, but we're only down by a score here. Farrell Allen will look for yardage, and he's got some. Makes one man miss. He's still on his feet down near a 1st down. He's got about 9.5. He's going to be a arm hair short of a 1st down, it looks like.
Yeah, he is determined. He is understanding where he needs to be, and he knows that if you're coming high at him, he is already way lower than you, and that's not going to work.
Farrell Allen has been as impressive the last 2 weeks as any Cougar player has, both offensively and defensively. That play last week where Allen scooped up the mishandled snap from Benitez, that was an impactful play because that was another one of those spots to put us behind the chains that he turned into about a 5-6 yard gain and really kind of swung things in Montgomery's direction.
You just love having a guy that can do it all.
2nd down and 1 for Montgomery as Benitez takes the snap and he looks to throw. a lot of time, and now he's going to try to take off, and he is going to fall forward for a first down. So, as one of those minimal gains go, you go, well, all right. I mean, my man knew that he only needed a yard, so he got a yard and a half, and we got a new set of downs.
Yeah, the way he's running, too, it's crazy to see that he is able to kind of slink around, and then sees a little bit of daylight, and he hits it fast.
So Montgomery has found itself in this situation a couple of times in the last couple of minutes with a first down in Hunterdon Central territory. The last 2 drives, they have been unable to come away with points. And pretty important to get at least a score here on this drive.
Yeah, you'd love to go to the locker room with a little bit more of a lead. You feel like you've done a little bit more.
Benitez has Pharrell Allen on his hip. And now in motion comes Brooks Dahl. They will give to Allen. He's got running room. He's got a first down inside the 30, and he is going to be bear crawling down to the 20-yard line. A first down for Montgomery. Pharrell Allen, boy, he's running hard.
It is looking like some people do not want to tackle him anymore. They're like, ooh, that's going to hurt. Let me try and go with his ankles a little bit.
Fantastic play design there because the motion really kind of weakened the right side, or it would be the left side of the defense there, just because Hunterdon Central was in a little bit of man there, and just creating that action to shift the linebackers 1 or 2 steps to the right. Really, and maybe let's see it here again, and it is same exact play, and this time, and no, Allen is not stopped in the backfield. He's got another first down inside the 10-yard line. Boy, a little quick on my end. Pharrell Allen is just tearing it up.
I mean, that is a message to send, too. We're running the same thing. We're doing it again, and you can't stop us yet.
Boy, this is the time when you run that play and you tell Benitez to keep it.
Yep.
Absolutely. Run the same exact play, and that end, if he sees this come again, he is going to crash down on Pharrell Allen so stinking hard. Benitez is going to be able to walk into the end zone if that's what ends up happening on this play. And if this happens, you're never going to hear the end of it because I'm going to be a freaking genius.
I want it to, but I don't. It's bittersweet.
Nope, it'll be Benitez right up the gut, and a really nice play on the interior of the line for Hunterdon Central.
I mean, even that, some positive yards, everything kind of clicking.
Jimmy Katramatis just had a nice moment. I don't know if anybody caught it there. Katramatis was kind of engaged with Corbin Quintero, and whatever had happened, as we're going to have a timeout on the field, Quintero didn't love whatever either happened or was said there, and you saw Katramatis kind of go over there and be like, "It's all good, man." And then he gave him. They ended up with a little backslap, a little bro hug, and all was well. But it just shows you the class that Jimmy Katramatis has.
I mean, also when the play's over, it's a little bit different. During the play, everybody's an enemy. When it's over, it's different. And also, not for nothing, if I'm Corbin Quintero, I'm really not trying to mess with a kid who's 6'3", 285 pounds either. You know what I mean? I'll pretend like I want to, but my buddy's gonna pull me back though. I was gonna
hold me back.
I was gonna
hold me back. Guys, I would have had it. Mm-hmm. I would have taken it.
Yeah, it's a good thing you were there to keep me under control.
Oh man, it's like my Chris Sims story from high school. Oh, we're not going to tell that one on the air. Let's just say it almost ended badly for me. First down and goal, or second down, I should say, and goal. This is Pharrell Allen. He's looking for the end zone, makes a man miss, and walks into the end zone. Touchdown, Cougars.
Same play, different side.
And you know what? I was talking to Zoran Milic about this in the preseason before we even got going. And one of the things that they do that is different as this muddle huddle gets going is they run a flipped line. So they either have a strong side of the line and they have a weak side of the line. And we'll get to the rest of this after this muddle huddle here, as Benitez is back there, and they snap it out to the left, and it's going to be McFadden looking for room, and Hunterdon Central at that time snuffs it out. So 14-0 it remains. But, it's not your traditional left tackle, right tackle, and I play left tackle. Now, you play tackle. Do you play strong side tackle, or do you play, and I apologize, I'm going to call it weak side tackle, though they don't call it weak side tackle because they don't like to use the word weak. That whatever side the tight end is on, the same guy is next to him at all times.
I mean, and that's also something that, against the defense, they have to now deal with a different person coming at them on different plays, a different style of blocking, a different size person, and just, speed and quickness, and it's a lot to, kind of adapt to.
And I asked Zoran about that. I said, what's the reason for that? He said, well, when you're just a traditional left tackle or a left guard, and then we run a play to the opposite side, you have to understand two different blocking assignments, for the same play depending which direction we run it. If we have a play that we call one thing, and you know what you do when you block on the strong side, whether that's the left side or the right side of the line, your assignment still remains the same. So it really is, you want to talk about a creative way, in my opinion, to keep players playing fast. To me, it's an ingenious way to go. And I'm sorry, quick and strong. So the quick side tackle, that's the other term for it. As Benitez sends this one skyward, and it will be a touchback as Jones nabs it in the end zone. So, and we talk about it every week, too, although I'm going to start sounding like a broken record about this. How freaking impressive an athlete is Alex Benitez?
Yeah, that kick, NFL kind of kick into the end zone.
No problem.
Yeah. And he walked away like, all right, let's play some defense now.
Now, he missed a 42-yard field goal, but, had it been straight enough, it would have been good from 53.
Well, if you give him 3, he's hitting a couple.
My goodness. Chris Grundy, if you're watching this game, I think there might be a kid you need to recruit, play some basketball this year. God. He's not tall, but it wouldn't shock me if he could kick a dunk. Here's Jones on the handoff from Lentine, and that's Jones's nicest gain of the day, as he's got about 8 yards out to the 28-yard line.
This is a big drive, too. Montgomery really needs to stop here to go in the locker room with some confidence, I assume. Going to the locker room.
We have no clue how much time is left, as there is no game clock in the basement here where we are broadcasting live, watching this feed courtesy of Hunterdon Central Television. We thank them for their allowance to for us to kind of legally steal their feed, as we kind of were not allowed in the press box for COVID reasons, as Jones breaks through the line again, and he spins away, and he has got a big gainer. Is anybody going to catch him inside the 30? No, he is still on his feet, and Jones is going to go all the way for the touchdown. Boy, we talked about it, Matt. You cannot let him get to the outside, and you saw why there, that breakaway speed.
Yeah, if he gets past that first tackle and he gets a couple of yards to accelerate, it's real tough. Even that ankle tap attempt, it got a little bit, and he still was moving way too quick for it.
And it looked like that was the same play that they had just run as well, back-to-back plays, and that was meant to be more halfback dive that he just bounced outside. You have to wonder what Hunterdon Central saw, because clearly, in back-to-back plays, Montgomery was ill-equipped to deal with that formation. So this will be Bakarian, the senior kicker, on to try the extra point for Hunterdon Central. Good snap and a good hold, and the kick is true blue. So Hunterdon Central's cut this lead in half. We'll take a break. Montgomery leads it by a score. Coming up towards halftime, you're caught in the mire. It's the Montgomery Internet Radio Experience. Welcome back to Hunterdon Central. Keith Glock, Matt Pogue, live from my basement, not Flemington, New Jersey, as there was a penalty on Montgomery that had the kickoff placed in the Montgomery side of the field. So Bakarian just blasts it through the end zone, and Montgomery will be unable to return it, and they'll start at the 20-yard line. Matt, that was a humongous touchdown run by E.J. Jones to get Hunterdon Central on the board.
Yeah, just the fact that they have points is a huge deal because being down 14-0 is not the end of the world, but it feels a lot worse than it is. But having that score on, you get a little bit of momentum. You feel good about yourself going into the locker room. So Montgomery needs a good drive here to have some positive things happen.
And they really have been able to move the ball pretty well, although they've settled for maybe a little less than they wanted in a couple of those middle drives. But all in all, it's been a pretty impressive offensive effort as Benitez will roll to his right, throwing out there. And is they going to call that a catch? They are going to call it a catch out on the right sideline. And Brooks Dahl hauling it in again. Second catch of the game for the junior.
So it looks like he figured out that out route pretty well now.
6'3", and he goes about 185 pounds. So a big target, and that's certainly something that you want. McFadden brings the speed, and Dahl brings the height. So good combo there.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how conservative they go, or if they're just going to kind of get a few quick hitters and see if it works, then we're going to keep attacking.
Split backs with Benitez, and he will look to throw it again. He's loading up, throwing deep up the left sideline, and again, it is caught. Dylan McFadden, nobody's going to catch the speed demon. Touchdown Cougars.
Wow, he got behind him again by a lot.
Unreal. 71 yards for the Cougar score. Benitez to McFadden. You talk about it almost being like a broken record. We have seen that before, and Cougar fans cannot see it enough.
What a luxury to have to know that one play we can get some points back real quick.
McFadden, why on God's green earth are you single covering McFadden down the field?
Well, I mean, it might work. It might.
Hasn't worked yet for anybody.
No, I wouldn't do it, but it might work, I guess.
You have to think when you're McFadden and you see that, as Benitez will try to tee up the extra point here. You're McFadden, you see that single coverage, you're like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Benitez, almost like a rocket ship off his leg, he splits the uprights, and it's 21-7. So much for your concerns, Matthew, about what are they going to do here.
I think they attacked. They might have attacked.
Unleashing McFadden down the field, and it's kind of like, I don't know that he has another gear. It's not when we talk about unleashing him. He's like, I'm just running.
Yeah.
It's just what I do.
Yeah, I mean, I got open, and I was already open, so throw it deep, throw as far as you can.
So you got to wonder, what does the backyard look like in that household?
There's a lot of room to run. There's no fences, just so you can keep going.
How much crap talk is happening between Carter and Dylan McFadden about who's faster, and you just got to wonder what that looks like, because they're racing.
I don't think you can film it because it's probably some tough brotherly love.
You need an acute angle to be able to see the speed there, but you probably want to let them trail off at the end just in case somebody gets tackled. You don't know, but in any event, boy, what a luxury for Montgomery to have, that kind of speed, in back-to-back years with those guys. I mean, that's just, boy, you can't. Well, I mean, it's that old cliche, right? And it's a cliche for a reason, because it's true. Can't teach it.
No.
Can't teach that speed.
They've been trying. They can't figure it out.
And another booming kickoff from Benitez out the back of the end zone.
I hope he gets a chance to kick one from 60. I just want to see it. I want to see it.
Now, I'll say this, and it reminds me of, a couple years ago, or not, it's more than a couple years ago. Now I'm dating myself. Montgomery had a kid named Billy Eldridge who was built like Brian Urlacher, and a heck of an athlete, and ended up being, kicking was what he ended up being, recruited for most, as he was, going towards graduation. If all the rest of this athletic stuff fails, Benitez might have a career as a kicker if he just practiced that.
Yeah, spend a little time kicking, he'll be all right.
Lentine, he'll look up the left sideline. That's going to be intercepted. Cougars might even score again here before the half. Up the right sideline, inside the 30-yard line, down to the 22. That could be a backbreaker for Hunterdon Central. I would love to tell you who it is. We're having just as hard a time seeing it as you are. And it looked like it was Danny Turner maybe out there. Can't really see.
Your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah, I think that was Danny Turner. But in any event, Lentine just underthrows the ball. And, boy, if Montgomery can pound in another one here before the half and go up by 3 scores, that would be really difficult for Hunterdon Central.
Well, last time I questioned if they'd attack. Let's hope I'm wrong again.
Benitez waits and gives to Pharrell Allen. He's looking for room on the outside. He's got the edge. Hurdles a man, and he is inside the 15-yard line. And are you allowed to do that in high school? Yeah. I don't know that you're allowed to do that. I think that's a foul.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Excessive athleticism?
I've always said that. I think that they feel it's a dangerous play, but you know.
I mean, I can't argue with that, but I mean, it looked cool.
There is no doubt. Actually, no. You know what? And I'm going to say this. I think that is not what this foul was, because the flag was in the air as Allen was hurdling the defender.
Yeah, he saw him winding up though. He knew.
Oh,
he
right.
Knew it was coming.
Oh boy, ball is going to be placed all the way back outside the 35-yard line at the 36.
Man, that was something else. Even the thought to do that. I've never thought of, hey, there's a guy in front of me. I'll just jump over him, not run through him or around him, just over.
Montgomery has a first down and long from the 36. Hunterdon Central again showing blitz, and it's picked up without a problem and thrown out, caught complete out to the left to the 31-yard line for Brooks Dahl. This is the most action that he has seen so far this season.
Yeah, I mean, he's got some solid catches, too. He's helping them out a little bit. I mean, it's a benefit when you know that your deep threat is taking a lot of attention. So if you run your route well, you're gonna get some catches, too.
So a timeout for Montgomery. Its first timeout of the half. A 14-point lead for the Cougs as they look to build on that going into the half. And I just did get clarification on that. You cannot jump over a grounded player. And you could make an argument that the Hunterdon Central player left his feet, but the chances you win that argument is I feel as I'm qualified to comment on whether you're going to win that argument with an official, and I can tell you the answer is no.
No, you're not. You're not. It's a good argument. You're not going to win it.
Oh, yeah.
Does that apply to hurdles? Say somebody's laying on the ground?
That does kind of fly in the face of, like, it's unsafe to jump over things, and then we have events in track where no one's wearing pads.
No, you jump over them a lot. Yeah. I don't know. Those refs, you know?
Those stupid refs. Second down for the Cougs as Benitez sends a man in motion, and things are going to get stopped before they get started, and another penalty. It's going to be a false start against the Cougs. So they really are doing their best to put themselves outside of scoring range here.
Yeah, they're kind of digging themselves into a position where you're going to run the ball a few times.
So it is what it is, as we always like to say, and really, down in distance has not really mattered for Montgomery this year. If depending on the defense that Hunterdon Central calls, you might just tell McFadden to run straight real fast and see what happens. And Montgomery again sending a man in motion. And Benitez again stepping up, looking, throwing into double coverage out there, and nearly a catch on the sideline, but just a little bit out in front of McFadden. And if that ball had gotten there a hair earlier, that would have been a completion and first and goal for Montgomery.
I think he's embracing the quarterback role. I think he's really starting to figure this out.
Jeez. And we get used to watching, high-level play on Saturdays and Sundays and TV. And I'm not going to sit here and say that he's got the best mechanics in the world or any of that stuff, because he doesn't look like your prototypical quarterback in form or any of that stuff. Doesn't seem to matter.
No, when he lets go of the ball, which is the important part, it looks pretty great.
Yeah,
so just keep doing that.
Doesn't seem like there's a throw he cannot make.
No, or is afraid to make, which is even better.
Yes. If you can see it and turn it loose before even a guy's out of his break, that's big. And we have a whistle, methinks, and we're going to have another penalty on the Cougars, and that one might have been delay a game, actually, because of where everybody was looking. Neither of the officials on the sideline on the line of scrimmage threw that flag, so that had to come from one of the deep officials, which typically in that spot would mean delay a game. So this is Benitez rolling uncorking one up the sideline. Again, looking for McFadden. Is he there? No way. And it took a fantastic Hunterdon Central play to break that one up. That was Corbin Quintero. And, boy, a fingertip away again for Montgomery from a huge gain.
I mean, talk about looking towards the second half. These are some other looks that they're going to have, and one of them is going to hit at some point.
There is no doubt about it. I mean, you kind of got to know what's coming here. I mean, geez, we're watching that again. That was a diving, unbelievable play by Quintero to knock that away from McFadden. Boy.
And there's 2 defenders in that area, and that is still a great throw to a great spot.
So Montgomery will punt it for the first time tonight, as they were short a man and now have everything set up as Benitez waits back at his own 47. And he sends away a high spiraling kick, and that's going to be fair caught inside the 10-yard line. You cannot do it any better than that.
No, not even a little bit. It looks like he's almost been doing this for years. I don't think he has. Maybe a few weeks.
Pretty unbelievable from Alex Benitez, as he has, to call him a Swiss Army knife of Montgomery football might really not be doing him any kind of justice.
No, he does more than that. And just the fact that he can set himself up at times, get that field position, help his defense out so that when he gets the ball back, he's in a great position again.
So now you have one job if you're the Montgomery secondary, nobody behind you. I mean, that's pretty much rules, par for the course here. As Lentine will actually go under center, and Hunterdon Central comes out in the I formation for the first time tonight. He will turn to Jones and hand it, and he'll bounce it off the outside, and he's got another nice run, and he'll be knocked out of bounds just shy of the 20-yard line.
Yeah, something about that defense they're seeing. They like that run right off to the side.
We'll see if Hunterdon Central, has found the key to success, or this is something that Montgomery can kind of get bottled up as we go. And you know what? A great job as we watch it again on the outside by the tight end Cole Gray to really seal the edge and keep Danny Boyer off of that play.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's a great block. It's just one of those things where he's breaking a tackle even when the first guy gets there, so regardless of how good the contain is, he's making it tough for them.
And you know what? If you're Montgomery, you want to rip off a couple of 8-yard gains here, as long as the clock ends up keeping rolling, you don't really care. You just don't want to break off a 78-yard run.
Yeah, pad the stats. That's fine.
This is Jones again, this time off the left side, and he's got running room. And he will keep it in bounds, but he's going to be tackled all the way out past the 40-yard line. He falls forward to the 42. Another huge gainer for Hunterdon Central.
Yeah, that is tough. I mean, it keeps working for him, and the fact that they're able to do that is a little concerning because in the second half, they're going to be doing some kind of misdirection, and they might be using the play action off of that.
And you just saw again there as Hunterdon Central takes its final timeout. As we watched the play again, it was, again, Montgomery not being able to keep contain on the edge. And, it was even – that was before the fullback even got to the linebackers. So, that play was doomed from the start. Need a little bit better discipline along the defensive line there in order to keep them bottled up. Keith Glock, Matt Pogue, live with you for Montgomery football against Hunterdon Central. Pretty good sports night tonight and tomorrow as we have the World Series about to get underway. Dodgers and Rays will be followed up tomorrow. Big slate of college football. The Big Ten is back. We're all excited about that. We have an early UFC kickoff. Justin Gaethje and Khabib Nurmagomedov. And then you, of course, got Sunday football. We got college lacrosse on Sunday. We're excited. It's a big weekend.
And they're here with us.
That's right. Welcome to the fire. Lentine on first down. He'll step up, throwing a lofty ball up the right sideline, and that is going to be out of bounds, intended for Trevor Fish. So it'll be second down for Hunterdon Central.
The second quarter does not feel as lightning
as quick. Yeah,
yeah, not a lull.
I think I put the Meyer hex on that one as we do far too often. It's almost like we're shooting free throws now.
No, you don't want us doing that.
No. We can put the hex on a free throw shooter like nobody's business. 3 receivers out to the right for Lentine. He's got Jones with him, and Lentine's going to choose to throw it And he is under pressure, and he is going to be sacked inside his own 40-yard line. Great job in there. Looked like Andre Suleiman that time, and we have a injured Cougar on the play. But Suleiman comes up with the sack, so we have a Cougar injury as we approach halftime. We'll take a break. You're caught in the mire. It's the Montgomery Internet Radio Experience. Welcome back to the Mire. Keith Glock, Matt Pogue with you. That was Adam Hassanen, the 5'9" defensive lineman from Montgomery, who was a bit shaken up, but he walked off under his own powers. That's always good to see, as Lentine will hand to Jones again. And Jones again has big-time running room into Montgomery territory, still on his feet, and another first down to the 43-yard line. So Hunterdon Central out of timeouts and needs to hurry. Lentine, and he will just clock it.
So this is a little bit of a good situation for Montgomery because they're running short on time, so they're going to need to start throwing the ball, which has been something that Montgomery's handled a whole lot better than recently with this run.
There is no doubt about that. You'd have to think that they're spending at least a decent amount of time at the half figuring out what the heck has been going on in the last two series for Hunterdon Central, because a marked shift in the way that Hunterdon Central has attacked schematically, and Montgomery has not been able to react. So Cougs looking to get a stop here as Lentine has three receivers out to his left, and he'll take the snap on second down. Looking to throw, throwing deep up the right sideline near the end zone. Nobody home. Picked off again, the second interception of the game for Montgomery, and it is the do-it-all man, Mark Jenkins.
Well, talk about a way to end some momentum. That'll do it.
Absolutely. And that will send us to the half. We have played 2 quarters in Flemington. Montgomery in control of this ball game, 21-7. We'll be back with some analysis and the third quarter of play coming up in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. You're caught in the mire. It's the Montgomery Internet Radio Experience. longest band performance ever by Hunterdon Central, as we're still at halftime here of Montgomery and Hunterdon Central. Keith Glock and Matt Pogue live with you. Game being played in Flemington, New Jersey. Montgomery, Matt, really doing a fantastic job that entire first half, just kind of owning, the first half offensively. What did you like, or what did you see that you liked in the first half out of the Cougs?
I mean, I like the consistency. There was a lot of good decisions, and the running game was phenomenal. Pharrell Allen he was punishing people on every run, and he was making sure that if you're going to bring him down, you're going to have to work for it. And he's really setting up a lot of the deep passes, and I mean, it's been awesome, especially seeing Benitez getting more and more comfortable making that deep ball. They're doing great.
I like that it didn't really appear, at least, that they were doing anything special. It's not like they got 21 points off a couple of gadget plays or anything like that. This has just kind of been, we are going to execute what we want to do, and so far that has been successful.
Yeah, I mean, you can't beat that, especially when the plays that you're calling, you don't have to do anything special. They ran the same play a few times back to back to back, and they're getting 10, 15 yards out of it. So that's the dream, really. There
is no doubt about that. You have to hope that at the half, Montgomery has made some kind of adjustments, because the term halftime adjustment is actually, I don't know that antiquated is the right word. You can't wait to halftime to adjust. You have to adjust series to series. And you saw Hunterdon Central make an adjustment there from one series to the next. And in the last couple of series, they have really been able to move the ball on the ground. What does Montgomery need to do to clean that up?
I mean, it's tough to say that they just need to stack the box more, because, I mean, that opens you up to a lot of different things. But at some point, it just needs to be the defensive line getting more of a push so that the offensive line can't make so much room. I mean, he's having 5 yards before anybody contacts him. That's not what you want.
I mean, you have to find a way to limit, I don't want to say the touches, but, you can't let E.J. Jones be ripping off 8-9 yards a play. Otherwise, this is going to turn into a shootout. And I don't know that's the game that Montgomery wants to play.
No, they want to be in control. They want to use a little more clock on their offensive possessions, because the lead is great. And what's great about the lead is if you can continue to get 3, 4, 5 yards on the run game, then you're going to be in control for the most part. And that's what they want. They don't want Hunterdon Central to get a chance to get that offense moving and have those big long runs that are one quick hitter and then it's only a 7-point game. Like, they want to avoid that.
Yeah, the one thing that you say, even if Hunterdon Central has figured something out, Montgomery's got a 14-point lead.
Yeah,
it's one of the great parts about going into the lead, the half with a cushion.
Yeah, I mean, you get a lot more freedom, and your offensive possessions are a lot more. You get to have the whole playbook. There isn't really anything restricting you, which is great, because if the things are working that were working before, you get a few more points, and now that lead's even bigger, and your defense is even more confident.
We'll see if, and I'll be interested to see if Hunterdon Central goes back to that 2 tight end look. Certainly it hasn't helped them, throwing the ball, as Lentine's been picked off twice. But and I'm not even going to fault the kid for the second interception. He's trying to make something happen down the field before the half. I mean, that's a throwaway interception for anybody. That when you look at the stat line, you'd go like, oh, 2 interceptions. Yeah, that one, that doesn't count. But I mean, the run game of them getting that untracked, then that opens things for the passing game. So everything always kind of works, off the other. So.
I mean, if they can just get a couple of those plays that they had in the first quarter, that they were really getting into the backfield, they were causing problems, but they couldn't get anything started because the defense was on them. They need more of that.
Hoping Montgomery has some kind of answer for whatever is happening. We'll step away really quickly as Montgomery finishes its stretches, and we get ready for the kickoff in the second half. Montgomery and Hunterdon Central, third quarter, coming up right after this. Stay with us. You're caught in the mire. It's the Montgomery Internet Radio Experience. Welcome back to Flemington. Keith Glock, Matt Pogue with you live in the mire. Cougars lead Hunterdon Central 21-7. Montgomery looking for its second win of the season, trying to even its record at 2-2. Hunterdon Central attempting to avoid being 0-4, and that would be a shocking statement to everybody.
Oh, that was one of those moments where
You're supposed to talk.
No. You were building suspense. I could feel it.
No,
I didn't.
no.
Yeah, no. I think you were.
No, that wasn't it.
No, but yeah, we're gonna get into that research about when the last time that happened, but it's been a while.
Hunterdon Central just getting now back out onto the field, and Montgomery's been out there quite some time. I don't know if
Are they gonna stretch now? How does that work?
I don't know the answer to that question. Typically one of the officials walks back to the locker room to get the team.
Yeah.
Now I don't know. Are they not allowed to do that now because of COVID? Is that?
I guess, but even still, isn't there? We got a 10-minute clock or whatever it is, and yeah, they look like they're getting ready to do some stretching.
I guess that they're now allowed to do this. It's kind of throwing off our mojo as we thought we were about to get back underway, but
Yeah, that's what threw it off. Yeah.
I guess not. This is one of those things where, as an official, you just hate this. Yeah, I could tell you, I've been in a couple of these situations, not in high school, because in high school, mostly the teams don't, in lacrosse, they don't leave the field. Nobody goes to the locker room. I've been in a couple of these situations in college where the home team doesn't come back out. Like the visiting team's like, we're just going to sit in the corner.
Yeah.
And they never go in. And the home team goes in. And the visiting team's like losing by a couple of goals. And then, the horn sounds like right as the other team's coming on. And they like start grabbing some balls to try to warm up. And the other head coach is just like, I want the ball. This is delay a game. And then you're looking over at the home coach going, you put me in a spot.
Yeah.
I got to address this now.
No, I don't want your players to go out cold. No, I want you to warm up.
That's right. Oh, God. You usually end up trying to guilt him. Coach, if this situation was reversed and we were at home, I would not do that to you, Coach. Coach, I know how long a walk it is back at your locker room. I've been to your place. That's a long walk. You get caught up in there giving a speech. I've heard your halftime speeches. They're good, Coach. You get caught up and you get rolling, then you're 45 seconds late. You think I want me to take the ball away from you just had a fiery halftime speech? Come on, Coach. He's like, okay, yeah, Keith, you're right.
Yeah, that works. That works all the time.
It's worked at least once.
All right, there you go. That's all you need to do something. It worked one time.
I'm also leaving out the couple other times where it didn't work.
No. Those times I wasn't really trying, though.
No, I was totally trying. No, hardly any room for breaks.
Well, it looks like we're actually getting underway here.
Clearly not. This is the longest halftime in there. It's not like there's a homecoming. There's no floats. We didn't have a parade.
No, it was the band.
Holy mackerel. My goodness. Hunterdon Central will receive the kickoff to start the third quarter. It is, as I've been reminded, an absurd walk back to their locker room. However, again, I don't care. Come out sooner.
Yeah, no, that's clear. I mean, you're one about time management, so.
That's it. Benitez sends this one skyward, and that is going to bounce and be taken inside the 5, and Montgomery's going to catch a break here with a great directional kickoff by Benitez. They gain about 3 yards south of a touchback, so that is where Hunterdon Central will begin after the Jones kickoff return.
I mean, that really must have thrown him for a loop. He was not anywhere near it at first.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you usually expect that they have 2 deep backs deep to receive the kickoff, and that time it was just Jones. And, maybe they saw a little bit of an opportunity there to trying to gain some yardage, and they did. So, not that it's a world of difference, but maybe psychologically.
Yeah.
I'm just making stuff up now.
No, that's clear.
Yeah,
we were
that's
just
it.
waiting to see which direction you were going to go with that.
Hunterdon Central does come out in the heavy set again. Couple of tight ends, full house backfield. This is Jones looking for the edge. He's got it. Another big breakaway. E.J. Jones is going to go all the way 82 yards for a Hunterdon Central touchdown untouched. So we talked about it. Did they get it corrected? The answer is no.
Yeah, that looked like a replay from something we've seen in the first half. It was untouched.
My goodness. You gotta figure something out there. These run fits are not there in the last 3 drives for Montgomery, and I got to tell you that this has instantaneously become a ball game here because the last 5 runs have gone for chunk plays for Central.
Yeah, and if you're not stopping it, there is no reason for them to change up anything
No.
about it.
No, why would you stop? Why would you stop? Owen Bill will hold it, and Jeff Bakarian will kick it. And Bakarian puts a foot on it and knocks it through. So the lead back down to 1 score for Montgomery. So now Cougars for the first time all night, Matt, feeling a little bit of pressure, I think.
They absolutely need to have a good drive here. It's not even so much that, it's the lead. It's more just you were making things up, but the psychological part of it now is they came out and one play, they were able to do that. So how do you respond? You have to have something positive because if not, you're going to start looking at, what's going on.
Better be looking at what's going on right now. I mean, if you weren't looking at it at halftime, you gotta certainly figure out, on that play, out-leveraged and outnumbered, just didn't have the right fits or the right numbers over there to even remotely think about stopping that play as Jones was literally untouched for 82 yards.
Yeah, I mean the blocking was good. We can't say that it wasn't, but at the same time, how?
Yeah, usually even on long runs like that, it's a foot race to get to the outside. That was just a run up the seam.
Yeah.
Bakarian puts a foot to it, and Montgomery will take it back at the 5-yard line. And a nice return out past the 25. And that looks like McFadden.
I mean, that's big. That they needed something. They could not have anything just be a touchback or I got 4 yards. They need something. They got to get moving.
So Montgomery will take over out near its 30-yard line, looking to answer a one-play 82-yard drive from the Red Devils. I think Hunterdon Central on that last play, actually in that, full house backfield, had offensive linemen in the backfield.
Well, they're known for blocking.
Benitez will keep it. He's got good blocking. He cuts it back up inside. Benitez is off to the races. Could we see back-to-back touchdowns on the first 2 plays of the half? We're going to do it. It's going to be a 71-yard touchdown for Alex Benitez. How about that? That's unbelievable.
So like we were saying, they're going to answer right back.
My goodness, Alex Benitez took all the momentum in the world right back for Montgomery, and just like that, they're back up 2 scores. Holy cow.
So when you ask that rhetorical question of how do you answer,
that's what you do.
That's it right there.
So Alex, go do this.
Yeah.
Make this happen.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Wow.
Couple of now Benitez had a significantly more difficult road for that touchdown than did Jones.
Yeah, he did a lot more work, but same result.
Here is the muddle huddle. They snap it right up the middle. This is Benitez, and Hunterdon Central does a good job attacking it that time, and Benitez is stopped on his 2-point try. So the lead remains 13, 27-14. We'll see if that looms large as this game goes on. Somebody better figure out how to stop somebody else here, as the third quarter has been pretty fun.
I mean, talk about a bad time to come back late from the bathroom. That is, you missed most of what's happening here.
My goodness. That's just bananas. Gotta love that, though, if you are an Alex Benitez fan. I mean, geez. The kid is as fantastic a player as Montgomery's had. And there's a couple guys you could say that about, just with the sheer athleticism between he and McFadden. And Montgomery also doing all this without Weber Carsey. So a pretty impressive offensive performance so far. But you know, it's hard for me to say that I've been excited to see what happens when we play defense, but to say I'm anticipating it right now to see if we can get this fixed is an understatement.
Yeah, it's bigger than it was even somehow coming out of the half, because now that we are still scoring, we need stops because we can only do this for so long. We can put up points, but you can't ask us for 50.
No, and you're not going to expect anybody to go, 70, 80 yards on a clip every play. So Benitez is a little bit more typical for him, boots it through the back of the end zone. We have had 2 plays in the third quarter, and we've had over 150 yards of offense and 2 touchdowns. So if we go like this, we're going to be here for about 4.5 hours, and we're going to have 700 yards of offense on each side. And
yeah, do scoreboards, do they have triple digits? I don't know if they have that.
They have to build a new scoreboard graphic because right now it's only built for 2. That's like Pogue's worst nightmare. It's like, listen, in-game Pogue, we're almost going to hit 100 in a basketball game. And I'm just like, look, you got to build a new scoreboard, right now.
Oh, don't do that, because I can feel that moment happening, and the calm look on your face, and then the frantic look on mine.
Everybody's got a job, man. I can sit here and talk. You got to just do that. I don't know what to tell you. Well, it's Hunterdon Central, of course, coming out in that look again, and they are offensive linemen. There's a couple of guards there in the backfield, and this is Jones. He's bouncing it off the left side this time. Montgomery a little bit better job there, fitting it for only a gain of about 3 for Jones.
You could hear the sigh of relief from here. They were like, all right, we got this again. We got him down. We're going to do this now.
Well, I don't think you can really take too much of a breath as you do that because...
Yeah, he's going to get the ball again.
Yeah, I think that one play does not, a solution make, as they say.
Well, it is a start, so...
No doubt about that. Cougs lead it by 13. Live from Flemington, Keith Glock and Matt Pogue with you in the mire, beginning to a fantastic sports weekend. 2 weeks in the books of hybrid learning at Montgomery as we get a little motion by one of the wingbacks and misdirection as they come back the other way. And here's another chunk play for Jones. And he is going to be stopped at the 32-yard line, but a flag comes in, and that's typically in the area of a face mask.
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
Yep.
Yep.
That's what it's going to be. So it was a first down anyway, but we'll tack on some yardage. We'll see if that's a personal foul variety or just a 5-yard variety. Oh, are they going to call that on Jones? They're going to say it was an offensive face mask. How about that?
On the stiff arm, you must have got a handful of something.
Yeah. I mean, now, stiff arm, you can certainly stiff arm. You just can't, grasp the face mask of the defensive player. So, boy, that's a momentum shift, I should say. Easy for me to say. Ball's back at the 15-yard line. Boy, that was big, and that was of the personal foul 15-yard variety. So,
yeah, you can send a little bit of pressure now. Maybe set yourself up for a better third down.
I would not do that. Absolutely not. And Lentine's going to throw, and he's going to be chased from behind. They can't quite get there. He throws it out to the right, and it was great coverage as he was looking for Owen Bill. And there's going to be another flag and another hold against Hunterdon Central.
I mean, forcing them to have to throw the ball is the best thing that's happened so far. They need that.
Yeah. I might decline this.
Yeah, I want that long third. It's still a long third down.
Well, I think it's second down, right? I mean, because we had the second, it was a short run and then a longer run with a face mask. So that was repeating second down. I think I want the down to count there, but no, Montgomery's going to back him up.
Well, I mean, think of how much the playbook shrinks.
I guess, but I mean, with the way that Hunterdon Central's been chewing up yardage, I'm actually surprised they came out of that set. It's if they stayed in that power I formation, it just seemed like there was chunk plays to be had, and for Montgomery to now have to force them into something a little different. Offside I here, this time to the left, and they're going to have Jones again in the backfield. And, well, that's why I'm sitting in my basement with you and not coaching this thing, and that's why Cardi made the good decision to back them up. It's going to be third down and forever from the 3-yard line now.
You got to love that. Back up those safeties and DBs and just make sure nobody's behind you.
You can't throw it here. You can't. I think you're just in a no-win situation if you're Hunterdon Central, I think you have to hand this off. Because if you, God forbid, you throw this and you get safetied, it's like every ounce of momentum that you had is completely gone. And here they come again with that large set. It's like it's the full house backfield with just a different formation, and they run it off to the left, and a much better job setting the edge by Montgomery. Still ended up in a 7 and 8 yard gain, but well short of the first down. So now just need to not do anything stupid, and there's a flag. Boy, if this is against Montgomery, this is going to be an absolute killer. Let's see what they call. You got to hope it's against both teams. It was after the down was over, for sure.
Yeah, there was some pushing and shoving.
Let's see. Dead ball foul, unsportsmanlike conduct on Montgomery. Is there going to be another one on Hunterdon Central? There is not. Now, the referee still has a fist in the air saying 4th down. Is that not an automatic first down? Either way, it's now 4th down and makeable. If it remains 4th down, boy, that's a bitter pill to swallow, boy.
Yeah, you finally did some great things. You made some stops, and you were ready to get off the field.
I would not punt this if I'm Hunterdon Central. I wouldn't.
No, not with the way they've been running.
And they're going to punt it. I would go. I don't care that you're backed up inside the 30.
No.
I would trot all those big uglies out there, and I would run this ball.
Oh, yeah, we're getting 5 yards. That's what we would be saying.
It is what it is. But, again, what do I know? Bakarian punts it away, and this is a high kick, and, that's good. That's got to be a foul. Yeah, absolutely. Everybody that's got a hanky goes and threw that one on that play.
That was an easy one.
Yeah.
What a catch, too.
Yeah, great job by Jenkins to go up there and catch it. And, Liam McManus is certainly not happy, as he kind of voiced his opinion with what happened there. And that's one of the, I didn't see him singing for the fair catch. Well, maybe.
I was watching him as I ran downfield, but I didn't see him do it, though. I don't know when he did it.
Oh, man. Now, despite all of that, right, Montgomery's going to get this ball at the 35-yard line. That plant penalty for Hunterdon Central, boy, bails Montgomery out.
That is humongous.
They were going to have to punt from the shadow of their own goalpost. They get lucky and with a dead ball foul on Montgomery. And, the Cougs end up with it in plus territory. That's pretty amazing. Benitez. He looks for some daylight, and he's got a pretty nice gain inside the 30-yard line down to the 29.
Yeah, this is one of those situations where the first one to blink and, stop making mistakes is going to really benefit. So if they can get some points here and just retain the ball a little bit and slow things down and get it back to normal, I think Hunterdon Central's in some trouble.
Now, if you're Montgomery, if you can grind it away here, you get another couple of first downs and punch one in here. You're just, for as up in the air as this game felt after that first play of the third quarter, Montgomery now feels a little bit back in control. Benitez nearly juggles the snap, and what have we said so far? If there's been an Achilles heel to this Montgomery offense, it's that, and it's the I want to get going a little bit too quickly.
Yeah, and the lack of reps with something like that exchange is so important, and it's hard to get that right when you haven't had as much time, and then you're rushing on top of that.
I know you're being nice. I'm going to say that by this point we should have that buttoned up.
Yeah, no, that's kind of my thing. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna do that. No.
Oh God.
Listen, we know the guy that does that sometimes, so
Oh, that's great. Benitez on 3rd down and about 8. He will look to throw it. Zings it out to the right. It's caught. Complete. First down, Montgomery. That is a humongous 3rd down conversion.
And they needed that. And this is one of those things where the confidence starts to grow a little bit because you put a lot of the bad behind you. You've started to do some things well again, and you're remembering that, oh, yeah, we have been playing well.
One of the names that we call very often in the winter season, Ryan Curry, making his presence felt there, the 6', 165-pound junior. Point guard on the basketball team, about as dynamic a basketball athlete as you're going to see. So if the team can get him involved a little bit more, that would be pretty fantastic. But a new set of downs thanks to the arm of Benitez that time. And we are going to say There's going to be a flag. Central coaching staff is not happy. And we'll see if we can get an eye on the official to see what we had. Camera didn't quite pan back over there in time. So I don't really know what the issue is at this point.
Yeah, that was pre-snap, but I didn't see anybody moving.
Nobody really seems like they're. It looks like it's going to be against Hunterdon Central, whatever it was, and that's why the Central coaching staff was as fired up as they were. So whatever, I mean, it could have been 12 men on the field, could have been offside. You know, again, we didn't get a look at the referee prior to the signal. So in any event, Montgomery's still marching. It'll be second down for the Cougs. Oh, check that, first down. Pharrell Allen stands on the hip of Benitez, and he gets the carry, and Allen takes a pretty good lick as he approaches the 15-yard line. So a gain of about 4 for Pharrell.
And the line is still making a lot of holes for him. I mean, he's not always able to break that big one, but he has room to run.
If you're Montgomery, you'd just be pretty content to have this clock continue to roll like this.
Yeah, take your time.
No reason to hurry. Haven't heard yet in this half from Dylan McFadden, though we know we're always just one play away from that happening.
I mean, it's also, they haven't been able to even think about making that deep pass yet. They've been trying to almost just get back to equilibrium.
Right. Benitez looking for a little extra guidance from Sean Carty and now gets it. Alex Benitez gives to Pharrell Allen. He's looking for the edge, and a good job by Hunterdon Central to snuff that play out before it got going. And that looked like that was Jared Van Veldhuizen. Easy for me to say.
Might have been right.
Sounded pretty good. Good job setting the edge by my man JV right there. I'm not even going to try to do it again. What? I don't know what just happened. Let's see. Live stream offline. Gotta love the wonders of what is happening. Let's see what we got. Well, listen, we are no strangers at all to technical difficulties.
No, not the people to judge here.
At all. We're waiting to see what Hunterdon Central does with its live feed. If we can get it back up for you, we will. We're going to go to commercial. We'll be back right after this. Hopefully, you're caught in the mire. It's the Montgomery Internet Radio Experience. Love when technology gets fixed like that. Montgomery is back into it. Benitez rolling to his left on third down, and his pass is incomplete over the middle. And that was intended for Brooks Dahl. Or check that, that was intended for Curry. So a minor snafu for the Red Devil Television Network. And there is a flag on the field, a little bit of laundry. Let's see what happens here. It's going to be a hold on the Cougs. So penalties playing a large role in the second half so far. Big plays and penalties.
About as many penalties as plays.
And that came in a pretty big spot because that was going to be fourth and, pretty makeable.
Yeah.
And now, right now you need to get some of these yards back. You need 7-8 of these yards back so that you can really have a shot at, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7. I've said this the last couple of weeks, and every time I say it, they need 15 and they get 16. So, maybe that happens again here. But I don't know that you need to go for the whole, 18 or 19 yards here. But it will be a little bit of trickeration, and they come with a reverse and a lot of running room and a cutback by McFadden, and just like that, maybe the reverse hex on the Meyer is coming to fruition as Dylan McFadden takes it inside the 10-yard line down to the 7, 1st and goal Montgomery.
So when you got 3rd and long, the reverse might bail you out there.
Next time Montgomery's down by 3 in basketball, I'll be like, look, you don't need all 3 back here.
You don't need a 3. Don't even shoot one.
Don't even try one. Gonna hit a 4-pointer somehow. They do that. Dylan McFadden, boy, we talked about his name being conspicuously absent from our tongues in the second half, and right there made his presence felt with the speed. And rarely do you see this. Montgomery under center, and this is going to be Pharrell Allen. He is searching for some daylight, and he is going to be caught at about the 5-yard line after a gain of 2.
I mean, you got to love that, though. I mean, they make that happen, and then they make a smart play to just keep things moving. Maybe they get some points right away, and if not, they reset and they get a chance to set something else up.
And again, they had kept the chains moving, and again, the clock is not your friend if you're Hunterdon Central. It's just not.
No, running the ball is excellent right now.
Let's see what the offensive line for Montgomery can do. Can it pave a way for one of these big backs, either Benitez or Pharrell Allen? Benitez in the gun. He's got Allen off to his right. And it's going to be Benitez. And he is going to be stopped just short of the goal line. Looks like right at about the 2 for Alex. And it'll bring up 3rd and goal for the Cougs.
And you got to think that regardless, they might be coming away with some points here, because this is definitely a makeable field goal for Benitez if needed.
I'm not even. We'll wait and see what happens here on 3rd down before we get into any kind of speculation. But I don't know that I would go away from that. I would send Pharrell Allen, almost as the fullback, and tell Benitez to go find some daylight.
Yeah, try again.
Big 3rd down here for the Cougs. 3rd and goal from the 2. Benitez waits in the gun. It will be Alex. He's searching for daylight, pushing. Can he get down near the goal line? No signal yet. And it looks like he is going to be short. So this is going to bring up 4th down, and let's see, not a good spot for the Cougs either. It's 4th down from the 2. So they really didn't think that he had gotten very much there at all. Maybe the length of a football. And Montgomery is going to go for it. And with no hesitation are they going for it. And again, they're going to go under center. And it looks like they are going to make Hunterdon Central spend a timeout.
They might have just been going up to try a hard count, too, and just see what they were setting up with.
Yeah, I don't know. That alone is a victory. Obviously, you think if you're the Cougs, you think, all right, if we don't get it, they're still backed up all the way on the 2. That's just the obvious analysis of it. But Central has to burn a timeout there, and I don't even know that I hate that, because if you're Central, you can't give up a touchdown here. If you thought what you had just seen out there was going to yield 6, calling timeout was absolutely the right move.
Yeah, you're going to be behind by way too much, and at the same time, yes, you need that timeout for looking forward to the 4th quarter. But regardless, yeah, that touchdown here is backbreaking.
If Montgomery can punch this in, that would be humongous. So we'll see. To me, I would opt for points. If you kick here and get 3, that puts you up 16. So it's 2 touchdowns and 2 2-point conversions. That's a lot of road to hoe.
Yeah, it's a lot of possessions that you need and a lot of stops you have to make.
Let's see how wrong I can possibly be. As Benitez under center, humongous set for the Cougs. Turns and gives to Allen. Allen looking for the end zone. Diving. Is he in? Touchdown, Montgomery.
That is gigantic.
That was huge. Give Pharrell Allen all the credit in the world. Searching for and finding the end zone. And once again, that's why we're sitting here in the basement, Pogue.
Yeah, pretty good not making us coach. Good job. Yeah.
It is what it is. Benitez is going to try the extra point for the Cougs. And a great job up front by Montgomery. High snap, and they get it down. Benitez's kick is good. So Montgomery now increases the lead to 20. And, Central had everybody and their mother, on the line there. And Allen with some pretty good vision to try to bounce that to the outside, and he got just enough, just the nose of the football over the goal line.
I really like that call. I like the confidence in them, telling them, you know what, go out and get the points. We know that we can run the ball. Let's not think about that last play. We can get it.
Yep, no doubt about it. So Central now has a long way to go. If you're the Red Devils, it's been very clear what's worked for you and what hasn't. I understand that you're down big and you're approaching the end of the third quarter. I still think you come out in that big heavy set and run the ball.
Yeah, I don't know why they stopped doing that.
Yes, I just think you don't want to be lulled into a false sense of security and say, with like that one big long third down conversion that they had on the opening series of the game, and say, well, we're capable of that. Well, yeah, you're capable of that, but what's more certain? You want to rip off a couple 9-yard chunk plays and then maybe a 60-yard touchdown, or you want to really try to search for something through the air? You already have 2 interceptions in the game.
I mean, if you're worried about the clock, it doesn't take much time the way they've been running too. So if you can get those kind of plays, it doesn't matter. You don't need to be passing already.
Benitez with a rocket ship off of his leg through the back of the end zone, and I think especially in high school football, man, if you have a kid that can put the ball into or through the end zone on every kickoff, I mean, anything can happen on a kickoff.
Yeah,
this is not the NFL.
One good block here or there, one missed assignment here or there, and you're going all the way.
God forbid you have a missed assignment and a good block, and the best athlete on the other team has the ball in his hands. You're in trouble. So I love just telling him to blast it through the back of the end zone on every play. Frankie Lentine will come back out for Central, and this will be a running play out of the gun, and that caught Montgomery a little bit unawares, gain of about 9.5 yards. That was the first carry of the game for Michael Carbo, sophomore running back. You got to wonder if E.J. Jones got dinged up, and that's why he is not in the game, because boy, watching that young man run, there's really no reason why you wouldn't continue to make him the feature back. So let's see what they have dialed up here on second down. It is play action. Lentine looking over the middle, and it is tipped in. It might have been intercepted, but Jenkins had his eye on a big hit on Cole Gray, but you can't blame him there, I don't think.
No, I think most people would probably make that decision too.
And honestly, if you want to say that was anything, that was actually a really good bit of discipline there by Jenkins to not go and light Gray up in that, certainly in a prone position, and he was going, for the thighs and then below the waist, as you need to when you have a little guy trying to tackle a big guy, but you hit him there and you get a penalty.
Yep.
So let's see if Central just opts to try to get the first down, and it's Lentine, and he goes forward. And I think this is a good call. It's a late flag, but I think there was motion. I think it's going to be a false start. Let's see. Yeah, the back, who was Carbo got going like 1/2 step before they snapped this ball. And I noticed it out of the corner of my eye, and yep, the right foot got moving a little bit too early, and that hurts.
Yeah, and on a 3rd and long, I'm still not seeing E.J. Jones in the game here.
No, and that's big. So they're going to go shotgun again. You see the offensive line for Central calling out its assignments, and Lentine is going to give to Carbo, and he's going to be chopped down short of the first down. So again, the penalty looming large, and I don't think you can punt this away here.
No, I don't think there's enough time left to do that and then hope for the stop, because Montgomery's going to run it as much as possible and eat that clock up.
4th down, I should say, and 2 yards to go, and E.J. Jones is back into the ball game. So if he was dinged up, it certainly wasn't that serious, as this is going to be the biggest play of the ball game right here. Can Montgomery get off the field on 4th down? Frankie Lentine turns and hands. Jones bouncing it off the right side, and he's got the first down. And, boy, he nearly got tackled, and then there's going to be another late hit on top of it. And for as good a amount of discipline as we talked about from Jenkins earlier, Danny Boyer, who missed the tackle in the backfield, came back and laid a late hit on E.J. Jones. And they're going to say it's a face mask, so I apologize for Danny Boyer. It certainly looked like he hit him late out of bounds too, but
Unrelated.
Yeah, I guess you could have had two there. You really could have, as we just watched the replay. And obviously, either way, whether it was a late hit or the personal foul face mask, it's another 15 yards. So, Montgomery went from having the ball potentially at the Central 28-yard line to Central now in Cougar territory, plus side of the field, looking to claw back into this ball game. Lentine with a lot of time, and now throwing, and that pass is going to be incomplete. So tough to make out a lot of different numbers on the far side of the field as they kind of get going with stuff. Akash Mavathadiu. I got that backwards. Mavathavidu. There we go.
And that's really been the story of this second half, too.
Akash Mavathavidu has been the story?
Well,
me being unable to pronounce it?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Second down, and this is going to be Jones as he's looking for room off the left side and has some, and he's going to be tracked down from behind and nearly a fumble, but they are going to say Jones was down.
That was a great strip regardless. He finished that tackle and made a play on the ball, too.
And trying to see who that was on the backside. It was J.J. Malik, actually, coming back in there to make a play. Malik, obviously the starting quarterback for Montgomery, unable to throw the ball with a cast on his right arm. But, the ability to get a guy like Malik back on the field in any capacity is certainly what you want. So I believe that has taken us to the end of the third quarter. We'll take a break with them. Montgomery leads it by 20. You're caught in the mire. It's the Montgomery Internet Radio Experience. Welcome back here to Flemington. Keith Glock, Matt Pogue, live with you as we begin quarter number 4. Frankie Lentine leading his team down the field as he turns out of the big set and hands to Jones, and he will rumble down to the 30-yard line for a first down for Hunterdon Central.
Really like to see a defensive lineman making one of those plays and getting some penetration and causing a little bit of disruption.
Pogue and I got a little too excited at the quarter break because as Central was showing the performance of the some of their cheer and dance team, they put a scoreboard up in the top left corner of the screen instead of typically on the bottom, and I was like, oh, is it gonna be the time? We're gonna get the time? Like, no, we didn't get the time. It's all good.
It's a gut feeling still.
First down and 10 for Central as Lentine will go play action, and he is rushed and throws over the middle. Caught, complete, inside the 10 to Bill, down inside the 5-yard line. First and goal for Central. What a catch from Owen Bill.
I mean, you weren't going to be able to keep him quiet all game. He's got to come back and make some plays.
No doubt about it. Huge catch on the first drive of the game, and a huge catch there. If Central's going to get back in this ball game, they need to score. They need to do it quickly because Montgomery really has put a pretty good cushion here. Brandon Stengel in as a fullback. They give to Jones, and Jones is going to fall forward over the goal line for the Hunterdon Central touchdown.
Yeah, this is tough. I mean, you made him earn it a little bit more and took some time off the clock, but the fact is, still haven't been able to stop him yet.
5-yard touchdown for E.J. Jones. He got himself a bit of a break at the beginning of this drive, and no need for a break at this point in the game because, Central just trying to claw its way back. Cougar lead now down to 14. Bacchiarin is on to attempt the extra point. Good hold, and that kick is going to be blocked. It was just a jailbreak on Montgomery, or by Montgomery, on the extra point, and just a missed assignment for Hillsborough, and a great job by the Cougs, and that really is a big play, man.
Yeah, I mean, a 2-touchdown game with 2 extra points without having to go for 2, that takes all that away.
Trying to get another look at it and see exactly what happened. And you know what that was? That was good scheme by Montgomery. Montgomery sent more guys off the edge than Central could block that way. The tackle on the right side had to make a decision, about who to block, and it's one of those situations where you got to block to the inside and then get off of the inside player and then hope to get a right hand on the guy coming around the edge and push him by. Just get a hand on him. That's it. All you got to do is just blow on him a little bit, and chose to block to the outside and let Montgomery run free to the inside, and that's just a recipe for disaster.
I mean, that was a great dive, too. Stayed away from the kicker and clean block.
No doubt about it. So let's see if Central's got any trickeration up its sleeve. And I said Hillsborough, by the way. I meant Hunterdon Central, obviously. So the Cougs will return the kick and out past the 20-yard line to the 22 is where Montgomery will begin, as another nice return by Mark Jenkins.
So I think we're going to see some Pharrell Allen here, and I got to think that you can't abandon the pass. I mean, you're up, but you still have to attack, and it's been working.
There's no doubt. I don't think you're dropping back to throw. I think that you're, incorporating some run action into anything that you're doing here just to keep the clock rolling. But the one thing that, and it's one of the things why I love Sean Carty, and, through all the conversations that I've had with him through the years, he just doesn't play or doesn't coach this game with any fear. Like if he thinks that based on what Central is doing right now, that they can just sit here and sling the ball around, he'll sling the ball around. He doesn't care.
I mean, if it's working, why wouldn't you do what works?
Right. The conventional wisdom by the pundits like, my dumb rear end sitting up here tells you that you have to run. But you don't have to do anything. As Benitez does keep it, and he's got another chunk play, first down for the Cougs, out past the 35-yard line, but a flag, and everybody's walking in the wrong direction, so another hold. So that puts Montgomery behind the chains again. It'll be 1st and 20.
It's been one step forward, one step back. It's tough when it's like that.
Yeah, and it's kind of been that way a bit all season long, whether it's penalties or mishandled snaps. And it seems like today penalties have reared their ugly head, certainly for Montgomery. But Hunterdon Central has not been immune, either.
I mean, they've had their fair share, too, and it's taken them out of important drives. But, I mean, they seem to have them, at times when they can recover a little better.
This is one of those things that, people hate holding penalties, right? Because they can't see them, But again, that doesn't mean that they're not there. As the officials, if you don't call those holding penalties, it's a disadvantage to the defense. You can't let the offense cheat. As Benitez will keep it again. He's got a lot of running room. Another cutback. Benitez, he's got a first down and a lot more. He is out past midfield. Another cutback. Just hold the ball, Alex. And he does inside the 40-yard line down to the 38. Who cares about penalties when you have Alex Benitez?
Well, if you run past the entire defense, nobody needs to block, so that takes that out of the equation completely.
Unreal. Humongous gainer for Benitez. Montgomery is right back in business. Wow.
I mean, anytime they need something, he's been there, and that is just huge. It takes so much pressure off of their line, they get a little bit more room. They can open up the playbook again and, not be as conservative.
39 yards for the junior signal caller. They will go shotgun again. This looks like Mark Jenkins in the shotgun for Montgomery. And it will be Pharrell Allen. And a nice play by Hunterdon Central to limit Allen to about a yard or so on that play. But again, if you're the Cougs, keep the clock moving.
Yeah, that's all they need to do right now. I mean, that's it.
I thought... For everybody obviously just listening to us, Matt was sitting here. I finished what I was going to say, and he just started shaking his head. I was like, he's going to shake his head and not talk. I'm like,
I mean, I might have. You don't know what I'm going to do next.
I have no clue what you're going to do.
Yeah, you got to have change-ups. You got to throw people off balance.
Oh, God. Second down and long for the Cougs as Jenkins remains in the game at quarterback. Pharrell Allen on his right hip. And it will again be Allen. He makes one-man miss in the backfield, and he lumbers forward for a gain of about 3 on the play. He's inside the 35-yard line.
I mean, I sure hope it's just giving Benitez a little bit of a rest just because of how much he's been doing.
What's he been doing? I don't understand.
I mean, just...
It's not any good.
Just playing some football. Playing a little football.
Kid does it all, man. I got to tell you. Third down and about 6 for Montgomery. They can move the chains again here, man. It feels like a backbreaker. And Benitez is back in the ball game. Only heard from McFadden the once so far this half. Ryan Curry looking for a little bit of guidance and gives him a thumbs up and says, all right, got you now. And Benitez. And they're going to it's going to be Curry on a false start. Yeah, he just got moving a bit too soon. You know what that tells me? The play was for him.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he was ready. All right, I'm going to get this one. I'm ready to go.
That was going to be either a post or an out, and he was like, I just really want to get there because he's going to throw me the ball. Oh, man. Third down and long now as we're just outside the original line of scrimmage. For the Cougs, acting head coach Sean Carty has seemed to push the right buttons all evening long when they have been backed up in situations like this. McFadden in the slot. Benitez rolling to his right. Throwing. Caught. First down Montgomery inside the 25-yard line. It is McFadden. Boy, he's what else can you say?
I mean, he is there when they need him, and he knows how to make the exact right play. I mean, he ran to the sticks. He made sure that when he catches this and gets hit, he's not going to be short.
And he's not going to fumble the ball. You saw, the amount of care he took to, knew he was going to take a bit of a pop and just held on with 2 hands, making sure you get that first down, and Cougs can chew up a whole lot more clock here. If you're Central, at this point, I think if you were to get a stop of minimal gain on a first down, or even a second down that creates a third and some distance, I would consider using a timeout.
It's not too early?
No, I don't think so. You just need 14 points either way. So it's Benitez looking for some room, and he's got a couple.
I mean, it's a little bit of the gamble, but at the same time, if you don't get the stop, either way, you had to try it.
Yeah, you know what I always say about this is because we assume that time or performance is going to be the same, either with 6 minutes to go or with 45 seconds to go, right? It's like a guy in foul trouble in basketball. If he's in foul trouble, but something's really, really, really working, and you can't stop him right there, and he's got 3 fouls early in the third quarter, is his 8 points with 6 minutes to go in the third quarter any less important than his 8 points at the end of the fourth quarter? No, I don't think it is. Is this time, are these seconds any different? I don't think so. Pharrell Allen, it does making it a moot point as he's got a first down. He is chopped down inside the 10-yard line. Another first down, first and goal for the Cougars.
I mean, that's got to have them feeling good. I mean, they're starting to go back to the things that have worked. They're getting, a lot of the passing game has come back, here and there because the run game is starting to show up again.
And just another fantastic run from Pharrell Allen. And now, if you're Montgomery, slow the heck down.
Yeah, you're looking at that back judge saying, your hand's not up, so I'm not doing anything.
Exactly. And you see them taking absolutely their sweet time getting to the ball. And that's exactly what they should be doing. It's a 14-point lead for the Cougs. A touchdown here would probably put it all but out of reach. And they give it to Allen as he stiff arms a man looking for the edge, and he can't get it. A really nice job on the outside by Corbin Quintero to chop down Pharrell Allen. And, if you're Quintero, you got to go low on Allen. You've learned that all day.
Yeah, I think the first time it happens, you're not going to forget. Maybe don't go at his shoulders.
Yeah. I don't really know how many times I need to get run over before you learn something.
Usually, honestly, not even one. Before it happens, you kind of know it's about to happen.
That's not a good feeling.
No.
It's really not. Oh, God. Oh. The worst ones are the ones you don't see coming, though.
Yeah.
Oh, I got to tell you. Because a lot of times when you're going to get hit, I always said I liked getting hit more than hitting guys, playing lacrosse in high school and college. I don't know.
You have some control over
Yeah, if I knew I was going to get hit, I was like, all right, that's fine. I can at least brace myself. This is going to be Benitez as he puts on the afterburners and tries to scoot upfield and is tackled just inside the 5-yard line. It will bring up another goal-to-goal situation for Montgomery from the 5.
They really they need the points here, and I think they know it as long as they're not over-eager and, have those little mistakes that kind of take them out of this advantage they have.
3rd down and goal for the Cougs. I don't think there's any doubt here that if you don't get it, you're kicking, right?
Absolutely. Take those points. This is a makeable field goal. If you need it, take the points. 17 is a whole lot better than 14. Different ball game.
Three scores of any kind. I just don't know that there's enough time to overcome 3 scores, right?
Well, don't.
Well, listen, this is an Atlanta Falcon fan talking to you here. Anything is possible, okay? So I'll tell you that right now. Benitez in the gun on 3rd down and goal. And we're going to have whistles. And what do we have? A flag, and Montgomery walking in the wrong direction. Boy, that is tough.
Yep. Well, that's kind of been what happens, though. They've gotten in good positions, and little things like that have really been hurting them. They just need a clean drive where they can do what they need to do without having to work even harder.
So 3rd down and 10 yards to go to score a touchdown here. And let's see what Cardi and Benitez have dialed up. Motion, and Benitez on a keeper. He's inside the 5, stumbling down to the 3-yard line. And you're right back where you started. A great effort from Benitez to try to find the goal line. And I just don't think there's any doubt you kick this here.
Yeah, take those points. This is makeable.
Penalties, certainly the story of the second half for Montgomery. You know what I would do if I'm Montgomery here?
What's that?
I would take this thing all the way down to 1 on the play clock and call a timeout.
And then
kick.
And then kick.
Benitez just ran the ball a couple plays in a row. Let him catch his breath. No problem. And it looks like that's what they did. I don't even know if they let the play clock run down. But somebody took a timeout.
If you need those other 2 timeouts, something has gone horribly wrong anyway. So why not burn one now?
Yeah, you need these points. That's what you need. I don't think there's any doubt about that. You want it's kind of like, why do we shoot free throws at the end of practice when after we've just done run gassers? Because you never shoot free throws when you're not tired. You always shoot them when you're tired. Why would we want to kick a freaking important field goal unless we're feeling pretty good about life?
I just hope that they can set themselves up, take a little time, and make sure they understand the importance of this.
Benitez puts the block down right at about the 10.5-yard line, 11. So we'll call it a 21-yard attempt for Alex Benitez. Little high snap, but they get it down, and Benitez puts a foot on it, and he's got it right down the middle, and that is humongous. The lead is now 17 points for Montgomery, 37-20, and Central needs 3 scores to get back in this one.
I mean, this puts a lot of pressure on them just from the scoreboard standpoint, but at the same time, that question of can we keep running the ball is really, it's almost gone now.
Yeah, I really feel like you have to feel pretty good about this right now, as long as you don't give up another one of those 82-yarders.
Yeah, that's usually how it goes. The one-play touchdown is always it's going to ruin your game plan.
Well, they say, it's like one of those things that, we talk about sometimes when it's like your favorite team and you kind of know where some of the weak spots are in your own team's armor, and you go like, oh, I can't unsee that. Like, I can't unsee that 82-yard touchdown right now in my head for some reason, despite the fact that Montgomery has largely gotten it under control in the second half.
Yeah, it hasn't happened multiple times. It
No.
really was one, but yeah, you don't forget that.
This is what you are just listening to is the nervous psychology of an Atlanta Falcon fan.
Yeah.
That is all this is. No lead is safe.
No.
But Benitez puts a foot on it, and there's going to be a return on this one as Jones takes it right from about his 1-yard line, and he takes a humongous lick at about the 22. So he gained an extra 2 yards out there instead of the touchback, but Liam McManus made him pay.
Yeah, he really was certain about that tackle. There was no hesitation whatsoever. And I think they need a little bit of that to carry over to the defensive side of the ball. I mean, if some of those linemen can even just slow him down so that someone can finish a tackle, they really can shut down that run game.
So I don't know that. Well, all right, let me rephrase that. Not that I don't know that they don't have the ability to win this game through the air. They have not shown necessarily an ability today to win this game right now, having to put the ball in the air.
It's happened, but not consistently the way it needs to
Correct.
be now.
Correct. Lentine, his favorite target is in the slot, and he's got a man at his feet, and he throws over the middle, and it's intercepted again out near midfield. And Montgomery's going to return it inside the 35-yard line, and that should pretty much do it. Dylan McFadden again gets his hands on the football. What does he not do?
I mean, he has made everyone's life a little bit easier because he can do everything. And the fact that even in the biggest moments, he's in the right position, he's there to make a stop, and he can make that play that really can put the game away.
And, not necessarily the most well-thrown ball by Lentine. It was a bit behind the receiver, but McFadden had tracked it, right from the start. And I think the receiver was a little slow to get his head around and wasn't able to track it in the way that Lentine really had kind of meant it to go. But, in any event, it is what it is. There was a penalty on the return, which brought the ball back outside the 40-yard line, which, honestly, if you're Montgomery, if you can continue to run the ball, maybe that just gives you an extra shot to get another first down, on the drive and milk the clock. As we're going to get a handoff going to the right, and that was going to be hard for me to see there if that was. Couldn't tell if that was Jenkins. It almost looked like a 4 on his jersey, but that's for L. Allen, so we know it wasn't that. But in any event, gain of about a yard on the play. Get a shot of the Hunterdon Central cheerleaders. Once again, a thanks to Hunterdon Central Television for letting us piggyback off of their broadcast tonight. Benitez gets another break from his duties. And another inside handoff by Jenkins. Trying to get a look at that number.
I thought that was a 4.
Certainly looks like a 4. See if I can get a answer on who that is for you, so we can give credit where credit is due. But in any event, it's a third down after a short gain. That's an 8. It's Cade Gaudet, I'm sorry.
Ooh, that is not.
That it
a
did not look
four
like
at
it.
all. Oh, jeez.
Oh, God. I'm blind, folks. It's good to know. Here's another carry for Montgomery off the left side, and a couple yards this time down near the 35. So that will bring up 4th down.
Hunterdon Central not using timeouts here.
So Gwinnett had a couple of different carries on that drive, and Cougs, I mean, this again is one of those spots where, do you punt this? If you punt it and it goes in the end zone, you only net 16 yards. And that's looks like it's going to do it. Yep, without the benefits of the clock, that will take us to the end. Montgomery has put on a show here tonight. All the usual suspects, Alex Benitez, Dylan McFadden, Pharrell Allen, just carrying the Cougs to a 17-point victory at Hunterdon Central. Matt, that was impressive.
I mean, they battled all night, and even in the tough spots, they found a way to just make enough plays to get themselves out of any jam they were in.
Getting a look at what has become the sportsmanship of the COVID handshake, as teams obviously not really allowed to intermingle with each other. And Montgomery has improved to 2-2 on the season with the victory. Hunterdon Central falls to 0-4. Didn't think that we would see that come to fruition very much, but it is what it is. So in any event, Cougs, they win it in impressive fashion, 37-20. Join us next week, Friday. We will be at home on October 30th to play Watchung Hills. This time we will be live from Cougar Stadium, and we look forward to bringing that one to you as well. For Matt Pogue, I'm Keith Glock. Thank you for watching.